It is that time of year, ladies and gentlemen, that time of the year where we all gather around the dinner table. We all express what we're thankful for. And we sit down to watch the Thanksgiving weekend tradition known as the Survivor Series. War Games. Too bad for WWE that only one of the matches tonight that were labeled War Games felt like a War Games. Bloodline versus OG Bloodline. Main event tonight for War Games with CM Punk. I will give you my candid thoughts on what I felt tonight in Vancouver. As for the ladies, I hope we never see another women's War Games match ever again. Also, Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight for the United States Championship. What are we doing, bro? What are we doing? And Gunther! Damian Priest! And how could anybody forget Bron Breakker, man? What a fucking beast Bron Breakker is. We're gonna talk about it all tonight. Only 5 matches on the card. I may need 5 old fashions after that women's War Games match, I'll tell you. When we get to the venue, we'll talk about it. And when I get there on this Saturday night, I want to know, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your Survivor Series 2024 post show for November 30th, 2024. I am your host, JD from New York. As always, coming to you live from the OTS venue. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Saturday evenings, wherever you may be. Survivor Series is in the books, man. It's in the books. Vastly different feel from last year's show where we got CM Punk returning to the WWE on a major surprise. Nobody expected it. It was a last-minute, game-time decision to put him on the show after his very tumultuous relationship with All Elite Wrestling, where they drove him out of the company and basically buried themselves for probably the rest of their run. CM Punk showed up last year, got injured in January, had one of the best feuds in the entire pro wrestling sphere through 2024, while injured, mind you, to return at Bad Blood, the return of Bad Blood. Hell in a Cell with Drew McIntyre. Tonight he entered Hell in a Cell, or War Games rather, after entering Hell in a Cell with Drew McIntyre. He entered War Games, and CM Punk was the biggest talking point coming into and coming out of this show tonight. Survivor Series felt, in all honesty, tonight, Survivor Series felt flat. I know some of you don't want to hear that. I know some of you aren't ready to hear that because, you know, everybody expects me to raise the WWE flag because because Paul Levesque is running the show. Oh, JD's automatically going to like it because Triple H is running the show. JD's going to love it because he's got his nose so far up Triple H's asshole that he doesn't know anything else. I don't think people are ready for my opinion tonight, to be honest with you. But every time people venture this way and venture down the dark alley of JD from NY, you're always going to leave with the same sentiment. You're always going to leave with the same feeling. Hey, man, I don't like this guy. I think this guy's a piece of shit. But at least he's open and honest with everybody and he doesn't bullshit people. I'd rather you fucking hate me. I'd rather you hate me for every other fucking reason. Don't hate me for my honesty. Don't give a shit. Don't give a single fucking shit. Always open and honest. With how hot WWE is, I can't help but feel disappointed by some of the happenings on tonight's show. I did not feel the same excitement coming out of last year's show as I did coming out of this year's show. I don't know why. You would think that WWE is the hottest ticket in town and that they filled 17,000 plus, somewhere in the vicinity of almost 18,000 people inside this venue tonight. Inside this venue in Vancouver, British Columbia. Almost 18,000 people. You would think that the price of admission for this show tonight, that WWE would blow everybody away with the 38th Survivor Series. I didn't really feel that spark tonight, man. I didn't. You want me to sit here and pull something out of my ass and just present it to you guys? You guys want me to be one of those reaction streamers where they fake all their reactions? You want me to be that? Or do you want me to be upfront and honest with you and truthful with you? The spark wasn't there. It's not me. It's not me. Largely, I've enjoyed the WWE product more than the AEW product. I've enjoyed the WWE product. Have there been a couple of fucking stinkers in between? Absolutely. I mean, these tape shows are doing the product no good at all. But I get why they're doing them. Everybody can't wait for the Netflix premiere on Netflix, January 6th. The spark wasn't there. I don't know what it was. Could have been a myriad of things. Crowd was fucking boring. 18,000 people, man. You would think that I was watching a fucking episode of Dynamite on Wednesday night. 18,000 people. I mean, they couldn't be bothered with some of this fucking show to react. At one point, I'm saying to myself, this is 18,000 people. It sounds like fucking 3,000 people. I never heard 18,000 people that quiet in my entire life. Don't know how many times I got to tell you, when the crowd reacts, we react. When the crowd feels, we feel. When they're loud, we're loud. Spark wasn't there. I don't know who produced that women's War Games match. I don't. This show was the tale of two War Games matches. On one hand, we had the women's War Games match, a complete and utter fucking disaster. There's no other way for me to put it. That's just me being nice. The worst women's War Games match on the main roster. Easily. Said it for weeks. This did not need to be a War Games. But here we are. Who ended up being right, as usual? How many times do I have to repeat myself for you guys to understand where I'm coming from? That match was fucking offensive in every sense of the word. You want to kill a concept? There you go. I'm not even going to get into why it's... I'm going to save that for when we actually talk about it, because it opened the fucking show. And the tone that was set after that match... You want to know why I didn't feel any fucking spark? Easily the worst match of the night and the worst women's War Games match that the company has ever produced. On the main roster. I don't even include NXT, because NXT had a women's War Games match that we won't really discuss here because it really doesn't make a difference. Easily the worst women's War Games match on the main roster. On the flip side, the men. The men had a great War Games match. The men probably had the best men's War Games match that we've seen on the main roster. Easily. Do you want to know why these matches were a tale of two cities, a tale of two worlds? Do you want to know why one sucked completely and the other was great and maybe the best men's War Games match that they've ever done on the main roster? The one reason why it worked is because of story. I don't know how many times I need to tell you that when you don't have a proper story in place and you don't have characters that you could emotionally invest in or even slightly give a shit about, it is not going to work. I don't know how many times I need to repeat myself. This goes for literally every piece of mainstream movie, TV show, sports. Everything is better when there's a story involved. It doesn't take a fucking rocket scientist to figure this fucking shit out. When your favorite TV show has a captivating story, you're more excited to watch on a week-to-week basis. When your favorite movie has characters that you love from beginning to end, and then you get a sequel and a sequel after that, and you see a story fleshed out over multiple years, nothing is better. When you have a sporting event and you have an injury that occurred earlier in the season, maybe the star player tore an ACL, maybe a star player pulled a groin or whatever the injury may be, out with a concussion, and he comes back and he plays so well that he gives your team, whether it's a football team or baseball team, hockey team, whatever the case may be, and he comes back and helps you push into the playoffs and potentially win the championship. That's a great story. Just look at the Braves. They lost Ronald Acuna when they won the World Series. I didn't give them a shot in the fucking dark to win the fucking World Series. Do you know what made that team special? Because they never gave up. That team never gave up. And then they went into the World Series against the one team that everybody feared. The cheaters. The Astros. And what happened? They mopped the fucking floor with them. Why? Because there was fucking heart, there was emotion, there was just the passion to fucking win. That's a story. That's a story. Everybody, even people who hated the Braves, wanted the Braves to win that fucking World Series and that season. Everything is better with story. That was basically the tale of both of these War Games matches. I don't really understand why this is a foreign concept to people, and this is what I've been trying to preach to the choir on Wednesday nights, but it goes in one ear and out the fucking other. Nobody wants to hear it. Nobody on that roster wants to hear it. Nobody up top wants to hear it. Nobody in the fucking chat wants to hear it. I'm gonna keep saying it until I can't fucking speak anymore. If you don't have story, you don't got anything. That was the tale of both of these War Games matches. The women's War Games match was the worst ever. The men's War Games match was fantastic. Different avenues of story. Bronson Reed injected into that match with his chaos and his mayhem that he brings to the table. Jacob Fatu imprisoned behind solid steel. Who knows what he was going to do? Solo and Roman, Ulafala, Paul Heyman now bringing back CM Punk to give the OG Bloodline a fifth man to even the odds. Punk and Roman don't like each other, but they're forced to work together. There was even some tension in that match where they did not want to interact at all. Roman made it very clear he didn't want CM Punk on that team or in that moment until Paul Heyman came out and was the head coach of the situation and got everybody back together. Match ended up being great. We got some big spots in the War Games match. We got the emotion. We got the crowd behind it. We had characters to emotionally invest in. Everything was great. Multiple stories coming out of that War Games match. With an ending, I'm going to be honest with you. With an ending to the show that I was slightly disappointed about. Now, I didn't really want, oh my God, The Rock is going to be there. I simply made a prediction. I thought that we'd see The Rock at the end of Survivor Series because of all fucking shows. We saw Rock at the end of Bad Blood. So I figured we see The Rock at the end of Survivor Series, and they played it out, man. It was almost like watching the credits to a movie, and the credits were never ending. And WWE had the camera linger and linger and linger on the Bloodline as they posed in the ring, and then they all, one by one, walked out of the War Games cage and all hugged Paul Heyman, and then they walked up the aisleway very slowly, and Jimmy Uso needed to be carried out of the match because apparently he broke something. He got injured, and then they stopped at the ramp, right at the beginning of the ramp, right before the curtain, and then they threw the ones in the air, and then the show went off the air. I'm sorry I can't help myself. I'm sorry if I felt disappointed there. You would expect something to happen the way that they fucking lingered on the Bloodline. Oh, it's just master storytelling. No fucking shit, man. I've been watching Triple H do this type of thing since the Black and Gold days. But that doesn't make it right because they saved the big surprise for 2 weeks from now or saved the big surprise for the Netflix premiere on January 6th. They got me, I guess. Okay. But the way the show ended up and how hot WWE is, you would expect something as a major surprise. Plus, the Survivor Series is basically the beginning stages of building towards WrestleMania. And legitimately nothing happened at the end of the show. So, pardon me if I ended up feeling a little disappointed. I have every right to feel fucking disappointed. I was disappointed with most of this show. So what? Outside the two War Games matches, I felt like the in-between was really good. Shinsuke Nakamura and LA Knight. Very good 10-minute exhibition. They wrestled for the United States Championship. The outcome, kind of bizarre, kind of confused by the outcome. All night I had people telling me, oh, they need to establish Nakamura. Oh, they need to make Nakamura look strong, coming back with a new gimmick. What new gimmick? It's the same fucking gimmick we saw him last time with. Why do we need to establish Nakamura after the first two times they established Nakamura as a loser? I don't want to get too far into it, but taking the title off of LA Knight after a not so exciting United States Championship title run to put it on Nakamura after what Carmelo Hayes and Andrade did and not put it on one of them, I find that to be a fucking problem, bro. Don't at me. I don't give a fuck if you like Nakamura or not. I don't. I think Nakamura is well past whatever WWE is trying to do with him, and I think Nakamura is fucking lazy, to be honest with you. He's not as exciting as he once was. And I'm sorry, after multiple presentations and multiple restarts, that I've given up personally as a fan of WWE pushing Shinsuke Nakamura. I'm well beyond that. I also don't give a shit what you like or don't like about LA Knight. I don't. Now, it could lead to something. It could not lead to something. I don't fucking know. We'll talk about it a little bit later. Very bizarre booking decision. Bron Breakker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser. If you really want to boil it down to which one of these 5 matches stole the show, you're looking at it. Might be a little bit of a controversial hot take, but I'm going with the Intercontinental Championship match as my match of the evening. Bron Breakker is fucking great. The kid has done no wrong since he's joined the main roster. 0. Sheamus is incredible. Someone like Sheamus is so undervalued by the fan base that they genuinely don't know that they're watching greatness every single time the guy steps into the fucking ring. He also does no wrong. And then you got Ludwig Kaiser, who every single time he's in there wrestles his balls off. Once part of the best tag team in all of NXT. I thought they were pound for pound the best tag team in WWE, him and Giovanni Vinci, when they were Imperium. I think they both have great breakout potential. One clearly is not doing much of anything. The other, as showcased tonight, is showing you why he's great and will be great. They fucking killed it. And for the first time all night during that match, Vancouver felt like an 18,000-seat Survivor Series crowd. And then we got Damian Priest and Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. I thought what they did was great. I thought what they did was better than what they did at SummerSlam. I thought this was Damian Priest's second best match in all of 2024. The only match that I thought Priest had a better match with was against Drew McIntyre. And that was at Clash at the Castle in Scotland. I thought this was his second best match of the entire year. And I thought what they did was bring the crowd back down to earth before we get all the plunder in the main event. Meaning they sold a body part, they sold an injury in the match. Damian Priest went full-on babyface and did what he needed to do to gain sympathy from the crowd. And then obviously you got the original final boss before The Rock coined himself the final boss. Gunther, the final boss, just being a fucking cocky, villainous heel. And that got the crowd into it. And they reacted accordingly. And then obviously with the interference of Finn Balor, that tells a whole different side of the story. We're not done with Balor and Priest. We're not done with Gunther and Priest because of Balor. We may be heading towards a triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. We'll get into that discussion. But Gunther did retain in what I thought was a very good World Championship match. The middle of this show was fine. They did not get off to the best start. And that Women's War Games match should honestly be studied for future reference. We're going to get into it all. We're going to talk about it all. I appreciate you guys very much right here on Off the Scripts. We got 3,400 people in here on a Saturday night. Thank you guys very much for all of your support. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all the other videos on the channel. There is plenty of content for you guys to get lost in. I was live on Monday for Raw. Tuesday, if you guys are new around these parts, you might not know that Tuesday we have a #1 show in the entire IWC. It's called Tuesday Night Titans. It's myself and the Solomons. They're on Tuesday nights every single week. The best pro wrestling discussion in the IWC weekly, outside obviously of what we do individually. So go check that out. Wednesday, I was live for AEW Dynamite. We cover AEW every single Wednesday, the good, the bad, and the mostly ugly. Thursday, Thursday, we uploaded a video on Rey Fenix, who is being held captive by Tony Khan and AEW. Go check that out. Friday, we were live for SmackDown, and then obviously tonight we're live for the Survivor Series. Go check all that shit out. Thumbs up! We got 3,400 people in here, man. The goal tonight is 1,000 likes. Minimum. So if you guys want to hit that thumbs up, helps me out. If you guys are watching after the fact, meaning you're not watching live, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought of Survivor Series and what your favorite match was this evening. Leave me a comment down below is what I'm saying, because every single comment helps us out in the algorithm. That's all you guys have to do to help the channel out. I love when YouTube thinks JD in the algorithm. That's a good deal. That's a great tag team right there. So leave me a comment down below. Tonight we're sponsored by my great friends over at Into the AM. They got their biggest sale of the entire year happening right now. Make sure you guys go to intotheam.com/scripts right now for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. From November 13th to December 8th, you can save 60% off everything on their website. So go check them out. We'll talk about them a little bit later on in the show. Tonight's sponsored by my great friends over at Into the AM. And super chats are open. Get them on in. It's a great way to support the show. And we'll hang out with our cold beverages, as always, at the end of the Survivor Series post-show. Let's start with the Women's War Games. 5-on-5. This was Team Rhea versus Team Liv. Team Rhea consisted of Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, Iyo Sky, Naomi, and Bayley. Liv Morgan, she had Nia Jax, Tiffany Stratton, Raquel Rodriguez, and Candice LeRae. Women's War Games match, 5-on-5. Rhea Ripley wore a very, very cool, super cool protective mask because she has a broken orbital bone. She wore this mask. It was very devil-like. It had horns coming out of it. Much better than what we got on Friday when she came out looking like Batwoman. Don't really like the all-black mask. It makes her look ridiculous. It makes her look like she's robbing fucking Gotham Bank. I can do without that. So I'm glad that she switched it up to go along with her great-looking ring attire tonight. Rhea Ripley always dresses the part. She looks fucking great, always. In big moments, she always looks great. She always looks great, period. But she always looks even better in big moments, big pay-per-views, like Survivor Series. I said this in the beginning. This Women's War Games match totally and completely fucking sucked. I'm not going to hold back here. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit what you thought of the last 5 to 6 minutes. I don't give a shit what you thought when the bell actually rung and the War Games officially got started. What we got for 25 minutes until everybody came into the ring, when Rhea and Liv finally made it into the ring because they were the last two females to enter the cage. When they entered the ring, things slowly started to pick up. But at that point, my patience has already gone. Goodbye. I am over it. At that point, I just want the match to end. The reason why this match, compared to the men's match, did not work is because there was story in the men's match. There's story there built over 4 years. You got 4 years of watching this story play out on television, and this is what the result is. You are emotionally invested to see this chapter close and then on to the next. On to the next, meaning, are we getting Roman and Punk? Are we getting Roman and Rock? Are we getting Rock and Cody? We don't really know. We don't know anything. On the flip side, the women's, like the men, they had a War Games match without story. Same concept, same match, but with no story. Zero. Oh, but JD, there is story. No, there's not. No, there's not. They needed a big payoff for Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. So what they did was give them two teams and made both of those ladies captains And then everything else around them, all they did was basically end the brand split for now, or give us some lackadaisical rules on the brand split where Raw can show up on SmackDown and SmackDown can show up on Raw. And this is going to be a common theme throughout WrestleMania season. There's going to be a relaxed brand split. So what they decided to do, because there's no real issue with any women on one brand to give us a War Games match, we'll just take Rhea and Liv and everything else that we got going on with the women's division that has some sort of angle or story or conflict, and we'll just mash them together. It's almost like they put all their women's storylines in the blender, hit the button, and there you go. There's your women's War Games. That does not make women's War Games. Now, granted, Rhea and Liv, they've had a storyline brewing for most of the year. That's great. But it's a storyline that is nearing its end. It is a storyline that is absolutely nearing its end and should be ended as soon as humanly possible, because there are absolutely no more legs for this feud to stand on. They are out of gas, and there's no refilling the tank with anything. I just don't care, and the majority of the audience doesn't care either. The conflict is over. Liv has done everything to Rhea, has taken everything from Rhea. It is now time we start building Rhea to take that one thing that she wants back, and that is the Women's World Championship. Saturday night's main event, the Raw on Netflix on January 6th. I don't know where it's coming, but this shit needs to end as soon as possible. I would put it on Saturday night's main event and call it a fucking day. I don't know what Rhea does after that. I don't know who she feuds with after that. I know we got Iyo coming up first before we get to Rhea. They may do that match before we get to Liv and Rhea for the title match. I don't know which way they're going to go. Just end it. It's the biggest story that these women had. On the flip side, everything else surrounding Rhea and Liv, Nia and Bayley, god-awful creative. Nia and Naomi, nobody cares. Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax, and this partnership now where Candice is involved and she sees that Tiffany is probably just waiting and itching to cash in on Nia Jax, and she sees it and she's trying to buddy up to Nia Jax and be her right-hand woman instead of Tiffany Stratton. Not really something that I'm interested in. Then you got Bianca and Iyo. Obviously, Damage Control gave Bianca a major headache. Then we include Bayley because they wrote off Jade Cargill. So Bayley took Jade Cargill's spot. I mean, they basically took everything that was on TV and threw it at you in this one match. That doesn't mean we get War Games. Nothing that I mentioned here said, hey man, I think this is best inside War Games. No. Now that's how you easily and quickly, mind you, kill a concept. That's an easy way to get fans on social media to say, I think we need, and you already start to see it. I'm seeing it now. Oh, you need to stop the War Games concept. I think we need to not do this next year. The more we get garbage matches like this that open this show tonight, the more you're going to start hearing that opinion from several in the community. And I don't blame them whatsoever. I don't blame them one bit. This match would have been best served as a traditional Survivor Series 5-on-5 elimination match. I said that from the very beginning. You can go back to 4 weeks ago when this match was teased. No. Well, because the women have a War Games doesn't mean we need, or the men rather, the men have a War Games doesn't mean the women get a War Games. When it is necessary. Why are there certain rules and different rules up and down the WWE card? Why? Why do the women's tag team championships get to float, but the men's don't? Why are we only using Hell in a Cell for blow-offs to feuds? But War Games is not. All because we have the bloodline in War Games doesn't mean we got to put the women in War Games. It should be used on a case-by-case, story-by-story, feud-by-feud basis. And nothing in this women's War Games match warranted a War Games. Nothing. And it showed. And the end result is a complete product of no storytelling. You can keep that shit outside the front door. I don't want to hear your fucking complaints. This was the worst women's War Games match in the history of WWE on the main roster. Ever. And it all started with Nia Jax. And I'm not going easy on any aspect of this match. I'm not. So if you like this match and you're expecting me to find something good about this match, I'm sorry. I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. You're not getting any positive. Because I'm going fucking scorched earth on the fucking bullshit that I'm supposedly force-fed every fucking week. And then when we get to the pay-per-view, it just blows up in my face. And all I can do is say, I told you so. I knew I was going to be right. And as per usual, I am. They got things started the wrong way. Bayley and Nia Jax started the match. I don't know who produced this match. I don't know who went over what was happening here, which agent was positioned to open the show with this match. I don't have that news or information yet. I know Fightful usually puts that stuff out a couple of days after the pay-per-view. The one thing I could tell you right now as the mistakes that they've made. Why is Nia Jax starting a War Games match? Why? I don't really understand the logic behind that. Ever since she came back to WWE, everybody's been claiming Nia Jax has looked great. Nia Jax has looked better in this second run than she's looked in her first run. And I'll give you guys some credit on that opinion. She has. Totally? No. But she has. She's slimmed down. She's had some great matches with Rhea Ripley and Naomi. Mia Yim, I believe, gave her a great match. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. We've gotten some decent matches out of Nia Jax. They haven't all been stinkers. But why is Nia Jax starting this match when we all know that Nia Jax performs best in small doses? You had Nia Jax in there for the duration of 40 minutes. Why? I don't understand that logic whatsoever. Instead of saving Nia Jax for the end and letting Nia Jax come in and throw her weight around in small doses, hitting everybody with big moves, looking dominant. No, you have her in there to start the match, to set the tone when she doesn't really set the tone for her own matches on weekly television the way that she needs to set the tone. You see, everybody's got this misconception about Nia Jax. Oh, she's a lot better. No, that's not really the case. The one thing and the one observation that I've seen with Nia Jax is that Nia Jax works with, she works with who she wants to work with, and she works good with who she wants to work good with. There's a very specific opponent that Nia Jax works good with. Nia Jax doesn't work good with anybody. On nights she wants to work, she'll show up to work. On nights she doesn't want to work, clearly you get what you get tonight. I don't know why we're using Nia Jax as a ring general tone setter, setting the table type of performer tonight. Who the fuck thought that was a great idea? What an awful fucking decision. And what we got resulted in me already wanting to shut this pay-per-view off 30 minutes in, and I'm sitting there turning away out of sheer embarrassment out of how bad this match was. Nia Jax herself in the first 15 to 20 minutes almost killed the entire vibe of this pay-per-view and certainly killed the fucking crowd in the process. Just an awful, awful, awful 20 minutes. I felt like it was never ending. 25 minutes. Never ending. Bayley and Nia Jax started. They were in there for the first 5 minutes. We didn't want to see it at SummerSlam. I don't know who asked to see it again. I don't. We saw it at Bad Blood, too. Nobody gave a shit then. Nobody gave a shit now. Jax drove Bayley into the cage with a hip attack. Naomi was the second to enter. Naomi's birthday today, 37 years old. Happy birthday to Trinity. We love Trinity. We're going with Trinity to win the United States Championship tournament and be crowned the first WWE Women's United States Champion. She had a colorful kendo stick that matched her ring gear. Crowd chanted, "Happy birthday!" Naomi also brought in a toilet seat into the ring, and she placed it over Nia Jax's head and did a stink face. I find it very humorous and quite a coincidence that Nia Jax is laying in the corner and she has a toilet bowl seat wrapped around her head. It's basically the proper representation of Nia Jax's performance in this women's War Games. Legitimately flush it down the fucking toilet. That's how bad it was. Candice LeRae came in next. Tiffany Stratton was about to walk out of the cage, and she did her little Tiffy time pose, and Candice shoulder bumped her out of the way as she walked out of the cage instead of Tiffany Stratton. Candice LeRae and Tiffany Stratton have this little tension between them because Candice wants all of Nia's attention, and she wants to show Nia that she is better for the job that she needs than Tiffany Stratton, and Tiffany Stratton can't be trusted. So there's something going on there between Candice and Tiffany Stratton, so she came out next. Crowd booed because they wanted Tiffy time. The babyface advantage made no difference because Jax fought off all of her opponents and was standing tall by the time LeRae got into the ring. So they placed Bayley on the top of two chairs, and LeRae gave her a springboard moonsault. Belair came in next, and she brought in a fire extinguisher and a foldable table. So everybody loves their tables. We want tables. Sure. What I also find very lazy and very formulaic in these War Games matches is that everybody that comes out of the shark cage and it's that time to enter the ring, they go underneath the ring and they grab some plunder and then throw it into the ring and then use it. You know, not everybody needs to do the same shtick. Not everybody needs to do the same thing. Every single person that came into a War Games match went underneath the ring and pulled out a kendo stick or chairs or a table or a toolbox, fire extinguisher. I mean, that's great. We don't need all this type of plunder in the War Games. If you have emotion and you're selling a match based on emotion, you don't need all that shit. You need maybe one or two different items. But WWE just forces it upon you because it's war, and then that's their way of doing plunder matches. Everything's got to get in. Everybody's got to get a weapon. Belair entered next, like I said, fire extinguisher and table. Babyfaces finally did gain control as Stratton entered next. Stratton smashed Belair over the head with a trash can lid, which actually sounded pretty decent. Belair got her hands up as Tiffany blasted the trash can lid over her head. So it was 3-on-3, and the heels easily took over thanks to Tiffany Stratton coming on in. Naomi and Nia Jax were going at it, and this is where I really just wanted to turn my head and just not give a shit about this match. Nia Jax is in possession of a chair. And I don't know what the fuck anybody in the back was thinking. I would have absolutely been livid if I was a producer, an agent, Triple H himself. Nia Jax took a chair, and these are the absolute worst chair shots in the history of the business. I don't know what the fuck she was doing. I don't know what she was thinking. It's almost as if Nia was sitting down outside on 4th of July and she was barbecuing with her family and enjoying the holiday, and you have a couple of pesky gnats flying around the dinner table as she goes to grab a hamburger, and she's doing one of these things with her hand. That's how lightly these chair shots were. She physically took the chair and could not be bothered to smash Naomi in the back with the chair as intended inside a War Games match. If you are not there to swing a fucking chair with the velocity and the intensity of War Games, then I don't know what the fuck you're doing in a War Games match. I don't. This was as embarrassing as anything I've seen in all of pro wrestling all year. And we've seen some embarrassing shit. After this despicable display of Nia Jax inside this War Games match, Friday Night SmackDown, I'm Triple H. If I'm in Triple H's seat, I am already riding on the fucking plane to the next city. How do we get the title off of Nia Jax? How do we get the women's world title off of Nia Jax? She should be fucking ashamed of her performance tonight to a point where she doesn't sleep for the next 3 weeks. I would be absolutely fucking down on myself more than anything after this despicable, offensive performance tonight. Yet everybody wants to say, oh, we got to give equal opportunity to the women. If the men have a War Games match, the women should have one too. No. No. No, you shouldn't. If you want a War Games match, then show me you fucking want a War Games match. If you want a War Games match, go in there and give me a fucking war. Don't go in there and swing a fucking steel chair as if you can't be bothered to fucking lift the goddamn fucking thing up. Yeah, you want me to sit here and say, yeah, man, this was a thumbs up show. Because you all know for a fucking fact, if I seen this shit on Dynamite, I would have ripped Tony Khan a new fucking asshole. Fucking garbage. Garbage. I don't understand this. And it might not be a big deal to you, but your opportunity to give us a War Games match with nothing coming on in, you needed the intensity, and you needed the brutality, and you needed the energy to carry you to a great match because you had absolutely nothing coming on in. And that's the performance you give me. If I'm sitting front row and I paid premium price to watch Nia Jax, what do I got here? Yeah, Nia Jax. That's the way we swing a steel chair. Okay. I never want to see a women's War Games match again. I never want to see another women's War Games match ever again if this is the performance that you are going to give me. As hot as WWE is, this is what you're okay with? You can sit there and brag about, oh, this is the highest grossing fucking arena show in the history of Survivor Series and in the history of WWE. You gave me the absolute worst fucking match maybe that I've watched all year. Congratulations, Paul. Congratulations. For all the people that say that I stick my nose so far up Triple H's asshole that I can see fucking the weather for the next 4 weeks. This shit was the worst, most offensive match I've seen all year. And they should be fucking ashamed of themselves. Never again. I'm going to continue to tell you, like I said the last 4 weeks, this did not need a War Games cage. Nothing about these 10 women spoke to me as, we gotta put them in War Games. That's how you kill a concept. That is how you kill a gimmick. As far as I'm concerned, Triple H is basically following his father-in-law's footsteps. That's all he's doing. We got the opportunity to stop him before he fucking loses his mind and ignores everybody's fucking complaints. The reason why Vince killed Hell in a Cell is because he put shit inside Hell in a Cell that did not belong inside Hell in a Cell. On some nights, he gave us 3 Hell in a Cell matches. The more you do something, the less it is going to mean. There will be no value left of War Games. I don't really understand this. I mean, is this the same fucking company that I watched back in October? You let CM Punk and Drew McIntyre go inside Hell in a Cell, and you let these guys bleed more than I've seen anybody bleed on WWE television in the better part of a decade. Willfully. You let them go out there and tell a story. Yet when we get to War Games match, which, if you want to boil it down, is more of a chaotic, more brutal environment because there's 2 rings, there's 2 steel cages, there's 10 bodies. Has WWE, I mean, this is a serious fucking topic. Has WWE lived up to what War Games really is? Or have they pussified War Games to a point where the fans are going to revolt and start asking for Triple H to scale back on the War Games concept? Because as far as I'm fucking concerned, we haven't had a War Games match that really depicts what war really is. You let these 2 guys, Punk and McIntyre, go into bad blood inside Hell in a Cell, and you let them have a Hell in a Cell match reborn. You give them the fucking platform and the canvas to give me a Hell in a Cell match, or give us a Hell in a Cell match that was just like the old times. Gave us a Hell in a Cell match that brought back the meaning of the match and its original vision. Yet you got Nia Jax out there. Can't be bothered to lift a steel chair. Can't be bothered to lift a steel chair. It's almost as if all she wanted to do was lift her ticket and show it to the ticketing agent as they boarded her flight to the next town. It's almost as if she didn't want to be there. It's almost as if she was zoned out and wanted to be out of Vancouver before the match even started. They should be ashamed of themselves. Ashamed. Has Triple H, has WWE not given us War Games as it used to be? Are we going to be talking about War Games? Is War Games going to be to Triple H what Hell in a Cell was to Vince McMahon? That's what I'm wondering. Because nowhere over the last 6 years have we gotten a War Games match that I could really say, hey man, that rivals one of the oldies. That rivals one of the good old days. No. The vibe, the essence, the brutality, the carnage, it's all missing. It's all missing. Yet Nia Jax is able to get away with this fucking garbage. It's unbelievable. After those chair shots, after those terrible chair shots, this match has been fucking awful up until this point. So, Iyo Sky entered the match, and she got a decent reaction. She grabbed a purple and gold trash can and immediately climbed the outside of the cage up to the top instead of entering through the door. She immediately wanted to jump off the cage. So it's like, all right, here we got Iyo, who does a act of fucking high risk at least once in these War Games matches, and they're going right to it. I mean, even Iyo at this point feels forced. Even Iyo at this point doesn't feel like it's genuine. It's like, oh man, we got Iyo. She did this spot 2 times in War Games, and we're going to rerun it again. It's like, all right, I seen this last year. It's great. Are we going to try something different this year? Oh, the trash can was a different color this year. Oh, it looks like Barney the dinosaur. Oh man, it's purple. So she's climbing the top of the cage. Sky placed the can over herself. Candice LeRae is up there. She cut her off. Sky knocked her off the cage and hits a flying dropkick. Raquel Rodriguez enters next. Everyone waited around as she looked for something underneath the ring. Oh, man, just wait there, man. I'll be in there 1 second. Let me go get something underneath the ring, man. Like she's pulling out a pair of fucking shorts to go to sleep in. I don't think she ever found what the fuck she was looking for. I don't even know what she pulled out. She gets in there. Her team has the advantage now. Crowd is chanting, "We want mommy, we want mommy. I want this match to be over." Nia Jax and Raquel Rodriguez took a page out of AOP's book and did their collision powerbomb super collider on Sky and Naomi before powerbombing them onto Bianca and Bayley. Rhea Ripley entered next. She went after Rodriguez, but Stratton made the save. The heels had control. Even though the babyfaces had the advantage here, Naomi made a save for Rhea Ripley. Everyone was down. This actually got a "This is awesome" chant. I don't know what the fuck they were watching in Vancouver, but this was certainly not awesome. Everyone at this point traded moves, including the toilet seat and Bianca Belair's braid being used as a weapon. Rhea Ripley used her face mask to headbutt Nia Jax. Didn't hit Nia Jax hard enough, I will say that. Rhea Ripley stood tall and awaited Liv Morgan, who was the last to enter. They had the entry of these women all wrong. Nia should have been in last. Bianca and Tiffany should have started the show, and they should have set the tone. Or Iyo and Tiffany. I don't know why we didn't go with two of the star performers. Out of all the women in this match, it sucked. All the talented women in this match, it sucked. And out of all the talented women in this match, you opt to go with Nia Jax to start the match. If I'm Triple H, whoever produced this match, man, They ain't getting the flight home on the private jet. I'll tell you that right now. Ripley stood tall, awaited Liv Morgan. She faked leaving her team behind, walking to the back. She came out with a baseball bat, and the match officially started. Now, I will say, it did get better from this point on, just gradually a little bit better. But it could not be salvaged. Rhea Ripley removed her face mask and attacked Liv Morgan, but Nia Jax saved her from a riptide. So all the heels held Rhea Ripley down, and Liv Morgan waffled her repeatedly in the midsection with the baseball bat. It was all bedazzled. Black baseball bat with little rhinestones and glittery shit all over it. So everyone traded big moves again until Nia Jax hit Bayley with a Samoan drop for 2. Now pinfalls do count. Iyo climbed the right side of the cage, even though nobody was in that ring. Stratton climbed the other side. So we got Iyo climbing one side, Tiffany Stratton climbing the other. All other 8 women thrown about in the ring, split into groups of 4. 1 on Iyo's side, 1 group on Iyo, 1 group on Tiffany's side. They all brawled with each other, and they're all looking around. They're throwing punches. They're all looking around. And the big spots happened. Iyo did the over-the-moonsault with the trash can over her body, and Tiffany Stratton did a big crossbody block off the top of the cage. Stratton, she looked for a weapon. She went into a trash pail, and she pulled out not a weapon, but she pulled out the Women's Money in the Bank briefcase. This got a big pop, and I'm like, all right, here we go. Let's inject some life into this terrible match. So that got a big pop because after several fake, failed-in attempts, maybe we get one tonight. She holds up the briefcase. Liv Morgan's down. Nia Jax is down. Which one is she going to go pin? Which one is she going to cover and win the championship? Raquel Rodriguez starts yelling at her, and then Iyo Sky obviously comes from behind and sprayed both of them with a fire extinguisher. So no cash in. No cash in War Games. Rhea Ripley handcuffed Rodriguez to the top rope. In between the cloud of smoke after the fire extinguisher, Raquel Rodriguez didn't know that she was handcuffed. Rhea Ripley was like a magician, and all of a sudden you see Raquel Rodriguez handcuffed to the top rope. She's got nowhere to go. So Bayley and Iyo There was a little scuffle between the two former Damage Control members. They argued a little bit until Nia Jax knocked them both down. Belair and Naomi drove Jax through a table with a double powerbomb. Liv Morgan broke up the cover with a baseball bat to the back of Naomi. Morgan gave Bayley an oblivion with a chair wrapped around her neck, but Rhea Ripley broke up that cover. Rhea Ripley then set Morgan up for the riptide, but even still handcuffed, Raquel Rodriguez was able to break it up. Morgan hit Ripley with a chair-assisted code breaker. Morgan and Ripley then battled on top of the top rope. Ripley and Morgan were in position for a big move. There was a table that was set up earlier in the match that was just laying there in perfect position. And Rhea Ripley, she tried for the riptide earlier. That was blocked. She did not miss this one. Rhea Ripley riptides Liv Morgan off the top rope, through the table, covers the Women's World Champion. 1, 2, 3. And Rhea Ripley pins Liv Morgan. And that will obviously be all she needs to get a rematch for Liv Morgan's Women's World Championship. That is what is going to be. When and where, we don't know. Liv Morgan has to take care of Iyo Sky first. But I'm assuming Saturday night's main event or Monday night, January 6th on Netflix. 2 perfect dates for that. They stretch it out any longer, it is going to be dead before we even get the title off Liv Morgan. Rhea Ripley wins. Team Rhea wins War Games, and they all celebrated together, sitting atop the cage, and that's the way the match ended. Soon as the bell rung, it got gradually better. But was it enough to save this match? No. No, it was not. Rhea Ripley always brings the intensity. So when she gets into a match, she always brings that level of energy because she's the most over babyface in the entire division. Iyo Sky brought the intensity. Tiffany Stratton had a decent run in there. Candice had a decent run in there. Naomi looked good. Bayley, a little shaky in there. But my God, man, the first 20 to 25 minutes of this completely almost killed the entire vibe of the show. And everything that I said before this, I stand and I will not change and will not bend my opinion. All because the men have a War Games match or a match in general doesn't mean you have to do the same thing for the women. You know, early on in WWE's life cycle, when women started getting more equal opportunity and we needed to make everything very similar for the women as it is for the men. Women's Royal Rumble, Women's King of the Ring, Queen of the Ring, Women's Money in the Bank, Women's War Games. I get it. I get it. But only do it when it makes sense. Triple H is walking a very thin line. Very. All because the men have it don't mean you got to do the same thing for the women. We need to preserve these types of matches. If that means don't do them every year and go back to being a traditional Survivor Series show with random 5-on-5 matches, elimination matches, sometimes the elimination matches tell a far greater story than a War Games match could ever tell because it would set up future programs and future matches instead of using the War Games match to blow off certain feuds and certain matches. It would be all right, and I honestly think it would be a thumbs up from most of the community if you wanted to do traditional elimination 5-on-5 matches. Not every year do we need a War Games match, only when it's necessary. He's not going to do away with factions. There will always be factions. There will always be tension. There will always be drama with several names and several superstars on the roster. But not every story is going to be a 4-year build like the Bloodline. But when you got 10 women and only 2 of them have had a year-long story and everybody else is just piss-poor creative, thrown in there for the sake of being thrown in there, that doesn't speak to me as War Games. That speaks to me as we're going to do it because we have to, even though it doesn't make any sense. And when you start thinking that way, you are walking down a very dangerous path, and the fans are never going to forgive you for that. And it is a very easy way to kill a great concept that we all once upon a time wanted to be on the main roster, and now you're starting to hear slowly but surely, maybe we should stop doing these matches if this is the level of presentation and this is the level of quality you're going to be giving us. This Women's War Games match was terrible. Terrible. And the good, no matter what you thought was good, the ending, Iyo, Tiffany, the cash-in, potentially, which was failed, it doesn't matter what the good was. The bad was so fucking bad that the good would never even come close to eliminating the bad and giving this anywhere near a thumbs up. Awful. And you got Nia Jax to blame for that. Get her out of this fucking situation and get her in a match on Friday and have her drop that championship immediately. The fact that Nia Jax is leading this division after this performance tonight speaks volumes about how fucking awful the women's division is in WWE. I have spoken, and I will not be taking back anything I said here. They used the noise meter for LA Knight's entrance. The noise meter did not pop like WWE expected it to be, because why would it pop after the fucking terrible match that started this show? So much so, like I said, Nia killed the vibe. Nia killed the vibe of this show that LA Knight couldn't get anywhere close to a reaction in front of 18,000 people. I've heard LA Knight get bigger reactions in front of 8,000 people on a random Friday in the middle of fuck knows where I am, United States of America. Now, you don't believe me. Just listen to the reaction from LA Knight's entrance. He defended the United States Championship against Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura is back, and he's got a different look. Nakamura's back. He's wearing all black. He's got these painted red war stripes over his eyes that go down his face, from his forehead all the way down to his cheek and his face. He hasn't really said much of anything. He looks like Vampire Nakamura. Where's Simon Belmont when you need him? Nakamura returned 3 weeks ago. At no point did we get a proper explanation as to why he all of a sudden targeted LA Knight and the United States Championship. You do know, before we saw Shinsuke Nakamura return to WWE television, he wrestled Cody Rhodes on the road to WrestleMania. He lost. Before that, he was in a feud with Seth Rollins. He lost. Going nowhere. And before that, you guys know where he was before that. He was a loser. Ever since he got called up to the main roster, the man has been a loser. There was a glimmer of hope when he won the Royal Rumble. Things might have been turning around for him. He got a WrestleMania match with AJ Styles of all fucking people, and what do you know? It fucking bombed. It bombed. Big time match. It was WWE trying to live on the edge and give us a New Japan Wrestle Kingdom-like main event at WrestleMania. What happened? They put them on before Roman and Brock Lesnar, and everything blew up in their face. And the feud was built off Nakamura and AJ Styles trading low blows. That's what the fucking feud was built off of. AJ going low below the belt, kicking him in the dick. Remember that? Yeah, Nakamura hasn't had a good run on the main roster, so pardon me if I don't give a fuck about Shinsuke Nakamura. Let's fast forward to tonight. LA Knight, Nakamura, United States Championship. Everybody on their prediction shows. Oh, LA Knight's going to win. Oh, LA Knight is, there's no way LA Knight can lose the United States Championship. He hasn't really done much of anything with it. His WWE's great idea now, man. LA Knight is no longer the United States champion. LA Knight had the advantage for the first half of this match until Nakamura hit a big back elbow, which looked like, honestly, it could have broke his orbital bone or broken nose. Vicious. LA Knight came back with a safe version of a burning hammer. They called it a burning hammer, but let's be honest, it's not a burning hammer. LA Knight tried a leaping superplex. Nakamura saw it coming and hit an avalanche reverse exploder for 2. Now, LA Knight slightly tripped himself up on the top rope doing that big leap into the vertical suplex, and commentary played it off as, oh, he's rattled. Nakamura has him rattled. The mind games have rattled LA Knight. Great. Knight avoided a Kinshasa, hits a flying elbow drop, instead going for a recovery, sets up for the BFT. Nakamura rolled in between the 2 rings and, in between the War Games rings. There's one ring and there's the second ring. And in between the 2 rings, there's this metal beam, this metal flooring that combines both rings, that attaches both rings. So Nakamura and LA Knight are fighting on this metal beam in between these 2 rings. Knight went after him, but Nakamura raked his eyes and hit a reverse DDT onto the metal plate. Nakamura followed up with a Kinshasa. He goes for a cover. He gets the 1, 2, 3. And Shinsuke Nakamura is the new United States champion, now a 3-time United States champion. Crowd was pretty quiet for most of the match. No real excitement here because there's no fucking story. I mean, what the fuck do you want the fans to really invest in? There's no story here. They could like LA Knight till they're blue in the face, but if you're not going to give him anything to invest in and no reason to fucking cheer for him or boo the guy that's in the ring, there's no story. Crowd popped mildly for the outcome with Nakamura winning the United States Championship. I immediately posted my thoughts on social media. Laughing my ass off, I put. What a terrible creative decision. This is dog shit creative. Why Shinsuke Nakamura is still a thing in late 2024 going into 2025 is a very bizarre move. Who gives a shit? Now, you could sit there and claim, well, JD's never negative on WWE, but if this happened on AEW television, he'd be all over AEW and ranting and raving and bitching and moaning about it. So for all the fucking idiots out there who claim I don't shit on WWE, now you got 2 matches on one of their biggest shows of the year that I'm gonna fucking shit on. This shit sucked. I don't give a fuck what you think. I don't give a shit what your excuse is. Oh, but JD, Nakamura has a new character. No, he doesn't. What new character? The character that you're getting on TV is the same character he feuded when he feuded with Cody Rhodes. This is the same character that he feuded with Seth Rollins for and with. The same character. The only difference is he wears black, he's got this undead look, and he's got red lines that go from one eye down his face. Both eyes down his face. It's the same gimmick. It's the same character. The red spooky lighting, cutting the vignettes in Japanese. It's the same fucking gimmick. All they did was basically throw a fresh coat of black paint on him. Now you're going to be a heel. We'll dress you in black. We'll give you some war fucking paint on your face. Go out there, don't say a fucking word, and beat LA Knight. This is what you guys are amused by. This is what you're hanging your hat on. Failure after failure after failure after failure, and you want me in 2024 to get on the Shinsuke Nakamura bandwagon. Brother, we've been there, done that. Pardon me for not giving a flying fuck about Shinsuke Nakamura. I can call up one talent from NXT and have it be infinitely more impressive and more exciting than what Shinsuke Nakamura is going to do on Friday night as the United States champion. And mind you, we just went through Carmelo Hayes and Andrade in a best-of-7 series. And they wrestled each other for 3 months. And the result? No United States title. They worked their ass off. They had banger matches. They had a great match at Crown Jewel. LA Knight walked out the United States champion. If you wanted LA Knight to lose the United States championship, then why not to Andrade or Carmelo Hayes? You honestly look back at that and say, hey man, Nakamura is a better decision. What are you, fucking mental? Yeah, let's give it to Nakamura, who basically had to do nothing for the United States Championship. He showed up. He challenged LA Knight. Meanwhile, Andrade and Carmelo are beating the piss out of each other. 7 straight matches, and they don't win the United States Championship. But to you, the online fucking degenerate thinks it's all right to give Nakamura a run with the championship. Oh, we got to rebuild him. No, we don't. I don't see where it says in the rule book we got to rebuild Nakamura. Been there, done that, brother. I don't give a fuck what they do with Nakamura. I don't give a shit if they got to make him look strong at all. I don't give a shit for all the people who said, oh, well, he's got to win. They threw him in a match with no story. You can't have him lose. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Didn't stop them the 4 fucking times they did it previously. What the fuck are we doing? What are we doing? LA Knight has had one shitty run as the United States champion. He hasn't done much of anything. What has he done? Defended it against Carmelo, defended it against Andrade, defended it against Santos Escobar. What has he done? Second biggest babyface on Friday night outside Cody. And that's what you do to him? Job him out in 9 minutes? To somebody who came back, first match last night on Friday Night SmackDown since April, give him a 3-week story with LA Knight and then have him beat LA Knight for the United States Championship? That's what you want me to get behind? The WWE faithful want me to get behind this decision because, oh, everybody's got to love Nakamura. I don't really get the Nakamura hate. Motherfucker, if I went into this and didn't shit on it, I'd hear it from the AEW sickos. If this happened on AEW television, I'd be complaining up and down about it. So WWE's not immune to my criticisms. This is dog shit creative. Oh, they may be leading to a rematch. Oh, LA Knight might win it at Saturday Night's Main Event back. Okay. Why the fuck did we take it off of him? So your original point of, oh, we got to make Nakamura look strong. Okay. So what is that going to do? You make him look strong for what, 2 weeks and then take the fucking belt off him? What happens to him then? What happens to him then? What was the point of taking it off LA Knight if you're only going to put it back on him in 2 weeks? None of it. None of it makes sense. The match shouldn't have even happened tonight. They threw it on the fucking show just to get LA Knight on the fucking card. Because they're too busy to put him on the fucking shows before this. The match shouldn't have happened. There was no story coming in at all. Oh, we got to build Nakamura up. All these fucking excuses, man. All these excuses. Give me a fucking break, man. How you look at this as a good decision and then look at Andrade and Carmelo and don't question putting the title on one of those guys. If you wanted to take the belt off LA Knight, I would have put it on either one of those guys and I would have been well into that booking decision, man. I would have been okay with that. Oh, we can't put the belt on Carmelo and make him a transitional champion only to drop it back to LA Knight. Who says you have to do that? This is also a product of bad roster management. It's not my fault LA Knight's got nobody to fucking feud with that. You got to call fucking bottom of the barrel, low-hanging fruit Nakamura and give him a dark, eerie, spooky gimmick, man, and fool the fucking fans. You ain't fooling me. You're not fooling me with this fucking garbage, this rehashed garbage. Match was okay. I'm going to be honest with you. The match was fine. It was a basic television match on a Saturday night PLE. Nakamura did not look bad, but the creative behind it, you miss me with that shit, man. You miss me with that shit. Awful. 2 matches in, and this is a complete thumbs down show. Triple threat match. Bron Breakker, Sheamus, and Ludwig Kaiser. This was given 15 minutes. This was for the Intercontinental Championship, and this, to me, was the match of the night. This was better than the War Games match between Bloodline OG and Bloodline. Everything Bron Breakker does is fantastic. Guy has not missed at all. He's got a shooting percentage of 100%. He's got a shooting percentage of 100%. Excellent. Future world champion. I would say, big prediction for next year, Bron Breakker wins the World Heavyweight Championship on Monday night. Don't know when, don't know where. He will be the World Heavyweight Champion. Sheamus. Every time Sheamus is in the ring, he goes out there and just has a battle, has a war. Sheamus had more of a war with these two guys than the ladies did in 40 minutes inside a match called War Games. Let that sink in. They made this more personal than all 10 of those women did in the opening match. Sheamus is incredible. Yes, it's like Mello. Mello says, Mello don't miss. Bron has not missed. Might as well give him that fucking catchphrase. Bron doesn't miss at all. Sheamus is incredible. Kaiser is great. Love Kaiser. Just an old school villainous heel who just gets it, man. Everything about him, the way he stands, his pompous attitude, the way he wrestles physical, that European style that translates so well with someone like him and his character, man. Fucking great. Fucking great. This was the match of the night to me. They all got their introductions. Kaiser attacked Sheamus outside the ring at the start until Bron hit him with a unbelievable, I don't even know where the fuck he jumped off of. Might have jumped off the steel steps or jumped off the fucking barricade, jumped off the Spanish announce table. I don't know where the fuck he jumped off of, but this guy came into camera frame, jumping off something with this incredible visual. Tackling on the outside. Hit Sheamus and Kaiser on the outside. Bron took over in the ring with Sheamus. He took some time to gloat and do some push-ups. Sheamus and Kaiser wound up fighting on the outside again until Bron wiped them both out with a leaping clothesline over the announce table. Crowd went crazy. Crowd was loving every bit of this because when Bron Breakker brings the intensity, and when the intensity is there genuinely, people are going to react. So Sheamus was dumped into the crowd over the barricade, and he was taken out of the match momentarily. So Kaiser takes out Bron Breakker, and he is kind of finding rest. He's leaning against the barricade, exactly where Sheamus was dumped over the barricade. He's leaning. He's like, oh, I could get myself a breather, man. Let me get some breath in these lungs, right? Some air in these lungs. All of a sudden, you see Sheamus rise up from the opposite side of the barricade, and he got the 10 beats across Kaiser's chest. Fans were chanting along with him. And then he did the same thing to Bron Breakker. He delivered the 10 beats, and Sheamus was just really getting the crowd into it. Great spot here by Sheamus that got everybody on their feet. Kaiser, after his 10 beats, crawls over to the timekeeper's area and grabbed the shillelagh that Sheamus usually carries to the ring. Sheamus took it away and knocked him over the barricade with it. So he's knocked out again. Goodbye, Kaiser. Bron is in the ring, and Sheamus is on the outside. He's looking at Bron Breakker, and Bron Breakker, you can audibly hear him, "Get in the ring, old man." So Sheamus obviously gives you that fighting look. He's pissed off now. He gets back into the ring. So they go brawling, toe for toe, or right hand to right hand here, throwing bombs. Sheamus eventually gets him in a Celtic cross off the top rope for a near fall. Bron comes back with a Frankensteiner, and then he starts setting up for the spear. Sheamus dodged it. Bron crashed into a chair that was conveniently wedged in between the ropes, head first. Sheamus followed with a bro kick. He had the match won. I thought we were going to get a new Intercontinental Champion, rather. Kaiser pulls the referee out of the ring in the middle of the count, and he stops the count. So Sheamus could have been the new IC champion, and Kaiser fucked that up. Crowd was upset. Kaiser starts hammering away at Sheamus with the shillelagh. Kaiser was proud of himself until Sheamus nailed him with a devastating knee strike. He goes for a cover, he gets a near fall. Crowd started, this is awesome, this is awesome. Kaiser hit Sheamus with a Kaiser roll and a DDT, but Bron absolutely leveled Kaiser with a spear. Bron followed up with a spear to Sheamus, and Bron Breakker pins Sheamus to retain the Intercontinental Championship, and he is leaving Sheamus once again disappointed. Fans wanted to see him finally win the championship, and it's not going to be tonight. This was excellent. This was not the greatest triple threat match that I've ever seen. It might have been the best triple threat match that we've seen in WWE all year, but I thought this was excellent. And Sheamus, I was actually quite surprised that Sheamus took the pinfall loss here to Bron Breakker. Now, I don't know where we go with this. I don't. This is a very up-in-the-air type of situation. We got some really great talent on Monday Night Raw battling it out for the Intercontinental title. I don't know where they go going into Saturday night's main event, Monday Night Raw on Netflix, WrestleMania. One idea that I had pitched a couple of weeks ago, and we talked about this on Tuesday Night Titans, and Solid Monster was taken aback by this and said, you know what, that's a great fucking idea. I got one of those every now and then. I don't know where we get it again. Kaiser was only in this match to really add to the story because he's obviously been a part of the story here with Sheamus for months. And Gunther told him to go out there and make a name for himself. So he did. And he targeted the Intercontinental Championship, which is great. I would run Sheamus and Breakker back one more time. Not immediately. Maybe we wait for a big show, but not immediately. But eventually I would run that match back one more time. I don't know when, I don't know where. Should be a big moment, should be a lively crowd, a big show. Because Sheamus deserves it. I don't think WWE is taking Sheamus and Bron Breakker, which was my original thought for WrestleMania's IC title match. I thought that they would do Sheamus and Bron Breakker, give Sheamus the title at WrestleMania, and give him a WrestleMania moment. This is the only title he's never won. I don't know where we do it. But maybe Sheamus, instead of winning the championship at WrestleMania, maybe Sheamus walks into WrestleMania as the Intercontinental Champion. Babyface champion, give him a few months with the title, have him run some banger matches with some mid-card guys on Monday night, and even some from Friday night, now that we got laxed rules for the brand split. It'll be a good move. Sheamus walks into WrestleMania, IC champion, but at WrestleMania, he's got his most daunting challenge to date. It won't be Bron Breakker, because Bron Breakker will be occupied with somebody else. But if Sheamus walks into WrestleMania as the Intercontinental Champion, I would absolutely position Bronson Reed versus Sheamus at WrestleMania for the IC Championship, and I would crown Bronson Reed the new Intercontinental Champion on Monday Night Raw. He's deserved it. He's more than proved what he's worth. He's obviously owned up to every moment Triple H has given him, and there is no way whatsoever that Bronson Reed is going to go into 2025 and not hold championship gold. He could be the world champion. He could be. But I think we start him off with the IC title. He would be a great representation for the Intercontinental Championship. Him and Sheamus at WrestleMania would be a banger of all bangers. It would be. Bron Breakker, on the other hand, what would he do? He doesn't really need the IC title. Bron Breakker right now is proving quicker than anybody that he is above the IC championship. He's making the title that much more valuable because of what he's bringing to the table. And that's exactly the way it needs to be. It's the man that makes the title. It's not the title that makes the man. He's already proven beyond the shadow of a doubt he don't even really need the title. Everybody loves Bron, not because he's the Intercontinental Champion. They love Bron because they see the future when they watch Bron Breakker wrestle. So Bron going into WrestleMania doesn't really need the Intercontinental Championship. He needs a major match to move him from where he is now to the next level so we can start talking about Bron Breakker, World Heavyweight Champion, and not Intercontinental Champion. Who that is Bill Goldberg. Now, you and I both know that nobody wants to see Bill Goldberg wrestle in WWE ever again. But if you're going to use Goldberg in a capacity in which he needs one more match. That one match needs to be against Bron Breakker, and Bron Breakker needs to retire Bill Goldberg. Spear versus spear, showcase match at WrestleMania. Bron Breakker gets put over by the Hall of Famer, and his career is made. Imagine that on Bron Breakker's resume. I retired Bill Goldberg. Works for me. Certainly works for me. Why not Cena? Cena versus Bron Breakker? No. No, we won't do that until, I would say Cena and Breakker is a match that we'll see in his retirement tour, for sure. But at WrestleMania, no. Now, I say John Cena versus one of three guys at WrestleMania. Gunther, which I still think is too soon, Randy Orton, or Cody Rhodes. And I would even throw Logan Paul in there and make it a top 4 list for John Cena. So I could see any one of those 4 guys wrestling John Cena at WrestleMania. Gunther, I think, is too soon. Cody, I could absolutely see that being the case, because we all know Cody wants that match. Logan Paul, I could absolutely see it. And then Randy Orton, I could certainly see that as well. But that may actually be his last match ever in WWE before he says goodbye and retires from his full-time in-ring. But yes, Sheamus, Bronson Reed, Bron Breakker, Bill Goldberg at WrestleMania. That's what I'm going with. I could see Cena versus Drew McIntyre as well. Doesn't really bode well for Drew McIntyre, but I could certainly see that. Royal Rumble is going to be very interesting, man. The Royal Rumble is going to be fucking loaded on both sides, both for the women and for the men. But this match was great. Bron Breakker retains the Intercontinental Championship. I appreciate you guys joining me, man. We are live, and we are number 1 here tonight on YouTube. We are number 1 with 3,800 people live right here on the Survivor Series post-show, and we are also live on Twitch. Thank you guys very much for all of your supports on both platforms. Moving on. World Heavyweight Championship. Gunther defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Damian Priest. Get this guy out of the fucking Twitch chat. Goodbye. You are an absolute loser. Oh, you're taking it to be a little too serious. It's only pro wrestling. I don't give a shit. Get the fuck out. Gunther defends the World Heavyweight Championship against Damian Priest. This coming on in might have felt a little flat to you. Some of you might not be fans of Damian Priest post-Judgment Day. Some of you might not be fans of Gunther. I love Gunther. I think Gunther's great. This was a rematch from SummerSlam. The stories and the momentum were different going into SummerSlam. Gunther had all the momentum. He just won King of the Ring, number 1 contender. Damian Priest was the world champion. He had tension in the Judgment Day. He had things happening in and around the Judgment Day that took him out of the ball game. Balor was kind of iffy, and there was some tension there. Dominic was running around with Liv Morgan, and he was betraying Rhea Ripley right before Damian Priest's eyes. So there was a lot going on there. Gunther was the confident one. Damian Priest, his mind was not into the World Heavyweight Championship match as we all needed him to be. Fast forward to tonight at Survivor Series, and Damian Priest no longer has Judgment Day. He beat Finn Balor at Bad Blood. He's got nothing holding him back, and he's focused 100% with no interference and no tension with anybody, no problems, no stress from any direction. Damian Priest was all about himself, confident as confident could be, going into the World Championship match with Gunther. Gunther, on the other hand, who was confident going into SummerSlam, was not confident coming into this match because he lost to Cody Rhodes. Now, I appreciate and I love the fact that WWE, I didn't give a shit about the Crown Jewel Championship matches. I think they're fucking worthless. That Crown Jewel for a championship that probably sits in the Prince of Saudi's vault somewhere. Fucking wasting my time. It was Gunther and Cody Rhodes. And I love the fact that WWE gave Gunther a story coming out of that match because for weeks leading up to that match, he promised Cody that he's going to make Cody a secondary champion, and he lost. He basically had to eat a nice slice of humble pie from Cody Rhodes. So he leaves Saudi. He comes back to Monday night. He's got Damian Priest looking at him, and he's got no confidence. Everything that he said to Cody, he finally did not live up to. He did not deliver on his promise. Cody made him look like a fool. So he came back to the States. He's got Damian Priest looking at him, and he's got no confidence. So he went into this story with no confidence, no emotion. He was worried that Priest may have his number because he lost some of that confidence when he lost to Cody Rhodes. It was all about Gunther getting back that confidence. That was the story here. And it proved to be a nice story to give him a little bit of a change in character and to humanize someone who has been so steadfast and so regal in all that he's done. He's got a little bit of a kink in his armor, an emotional kink in his armor. It's great. I like a real story when it plays off real human emotion because, you know, anybody coming out of that match after saying what he said to Cody, he would probably feel the same way. And they made Gunther feel those emotions, which I appreciated. This match itself was fine. You know, I don't want to tell you I was looking forward to this match so much. I couldn't wait to see this match. I love what Priest has done. He's so good. And Gunther is fucking incredible. This match went 20 minutes, and all they did was go out there and have an extension of the match that they had at SummerSlam, which is all you needed to do. This was a very old school, methodical, babyface versus heel match, working the body part, working the crowd. Babyface is trying to do big move, but can't do it because of the injured body part, and he tries so valiantly to pull it out in the end and ultimately falls to the heel because of outside interference, in this case from Finn Balor. What they did was take basic fundamentals and basic in-ring storytelling, apply it to this match, and the crowd, go figure, got over. They were excited to see it. They were invested. You don't have to do too much. You don't have to go out there and be, oh my God, 1,000 miles an hour. Oh my God, plunder. Oh my God, tables. Oh my God, let's bleed. The simple, the better. It doesn't take a lot of people, or it doesn't take a lot to get people emotionally invested in what you're doing. So look at what these two guys did for 20 minutes. Priest hits a shoulder tackle early on, and he appeared to hurt his shoulder. So that was the story right there. Referee checked on him. Priest immediately waved him off. Gunther was out of the ring and smiled when he saw this because he knew he had his plan of attack. They kept wrestling after Priest hit a slam. He started selling his shoulder. Referee checked on Priest. Gunther took advantage and booted his shoulder mercifully, just unmercifully, putting the boots to him. Gunther targeted Priest's shoulder from there until Priest eventually hit an enziguri to get some breathing room. So Priest starts firing up for his comeback. He hits a flatliner. He goes for recovery, gets a 2. Priest tried for a razor's edge. He couldn't do it because of the shoulder. Priest instead applied a triangle choke. Gunther escaped and applied a sleeper before hitting a big stack power bomb for a 2 count. Priest now is battling Gunther on the top rope. Finally hits a Hurricane Rana and then gets him up in a razor's edge for 2. Priest fell twice to hit his South of Heaven chokeslam, which is his finish, thanks to the shoulder. And Gunther comes back with a Kimura, but Damian Priest luckily got the rope break. The Kimura was the move famously used by Brock Lesnar. So we got Brock Lesnar mentioned on Raw, and the Kimura lock mentioned tonight was mentioned to be a Brock Lesnar maneuver. So we got 2 mentions. I don't want to say this is foreshadowing, but we got 2 mentions of Brock Lesnar in the same week on WWE programming. Does that mean that the Beast is coming back to TV in time for Royal Rumble season? I don't know. Maybe they know something that we don't. Don't want to say anything. It's too soon, but WWE likes to throw some very under the radar type clues out there. They did it with CM Punk. And now they're doing it with Brock Lesnar. So obviously, it's going to get people talking. Gunther played to the crowd as repeatedly clotheslined Damian Priest. Priest comes back with a big-time lariat for a 2. They battled on the top rope until Priest shoved Gunther into the ring, but Priest fell outside. Now, a couple of fans chanted, "You fucked up, which obviously WWE made them look stupid because this was the planned spot from the get-go. Because of this spot, the referee went to go look at Gunther, and Finn Balor came out of nowhere, and he jumped off the steel steps and gave Damian Priest, who was laying on the outside after falling off the top rope, a coup de grace. The referee saw Balor. He was yelling at Balor. He didn't actually see the coup de grace, but he saw Balor out there, so he got mad at Balor and starts yelling at Balor. Gunther booted Balor on the outside. "Get out of my match." Gunther then rolls Priest in the ring, gives Priest the powerbomb, applied a sleeper, and Damian Priest passed out. Gunther retains, and he walks away still the World Heavyweight Champion. Now, I don't know where they're going with this, but Cole did say Gunther was pissed at Finn Balor because he wanted to prove he could win on his own. And Finn Balor did not give Gunther the satisfaction of doing that. Finn Balor wasn't really in the mindset to give a shit about Gunther and what he was feeling because he was upset that Damian Priest was in this match. He got upset at Dominic for not stopping Damian Priest. And he was upset that Damian Priest is now more closer to a world championship than he is. And he's upset by that, even though he's the Raw Tag Team Champion. So where we go from here, I said it on the preview and prediction show on Tuesday Night Titans with the Solomon. So I don't think we're done with Priest and Balor. And clearly we're not, being that he interfered in this match and basically cost Priest the championship again for a second time in a row. I could see them go to this match one more time. I don't know what good that would do. I mean, we had Priest beat Balor at Bad Blood. I thought it was over there. Certainly not over now. So where do we go? Instead of getting another one-on-one match, how about we do a triple threat match? It's the only likelihood to come out of this. If I'm Adam Pearce, I'm looking at this. I expected a world championship match, between two guys, called right down the middle, fair and square. But here Balor is fucking Priest's chance up again. And now, because of this, Gunther's got to pay the punishment. So he had confidence levels going into Damian Priest at tonight's show, at Survivor Series. Now, he's going to get Priest and Balor in a triple threat match. That's the only likelihood to come out of this. He's got to go now against both of them, and the World Championship's going to be on the line. You want the championship? Priest wants the championship. Gunther's the type of guy that will defend against anybody. There you go. Be a fighting champion. Show everybody what you're made of. Show everybody who you are. Go get that confidence back. Now you got to beat two of them. I do think we see the Demon. I do think we see the Demon come back at least one more time. So I predict we get Demon Balor. But as far as a one-on-one match between Priest and Balor, I'm not interested. I'm not. I think that's over with. After the Bad Blood win, which was pretty decisive, I'm over it. So a triple threat match is the likely next destination for all three of these guys for the World Heavyweight Championship. The new Bloodline against the Bloodline OG. The OG Bloodline. Bronson Reed, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tanga Loa, and Jacob Fatu. They all walk out together. With Solo's theme music, they walk out as a united front. Team Bloodline with Roman, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, CM Punk, Roman Reigns, and Jey Uso, in that order, walk out. The first four guys walked out through the curtain. Jey Uso gets his entrance from the mezzanine level, and he walks into the crowd, waving his hands, and everybody's yeeting with Jey Uso. So Jey got the last entrance, and a lot of people were questioning, well, why did Jey get an entrance over Punk and over Roman? It's because Jey was starting the match. Tama Tonga started the match for the Bloodline, and Jey Uso started the match for Bloodline OG. But that's the order of entrance here. Punk was standing outside next to the OG Bloodline members. Roman saw him. Everybody got into the cage. Roman and CM Punk looked at each other. Punk walked in first. Roman walked in next. Very slowly. They stood on opposite ends of the cage. They were caged up like two animals together, forced to live together for at least a good 20 minutes. So that was that. Nice tension at the start of this match. No Paul Heyman walking out with either CM Punk or Roman Reigns. So no Paul Heyman at all for the start of this match. Tama Tonga's in the ring. Jey Uso finally meets him in there. He starts yeeting on top of the War Games cage. Tama Tonga was climbing the cage like he's fucking playing a game of Donkey Kong and Super Mario Brothers. So the match begins, or War Games doesn't officially begin until all 5 guys from each team are in the ring. So the match itself starts with Jey Uso and Tama Tonga. Tama got some heat on Jey. He went for a cover, but clearly nobody is able to pin anybody in this match, and the crowd let him have it, chanting, "You fucked up, you fucked up." Jey fought back just in time for Bronson Reed to enter, so the War Games advantage goes to Bloodline and Solo's Bloodline because Jacob Fatu beat Jey Uso on Friday Night SmackDown. Bronson Reed, he has destroyed everybody with his tsunami, decided to grab a bunch of chairs from underneath the ring and toss them into the War Games match. Jey grabs these chairs. He starts tossing them at Bronson Reed. Bronson Reed batted one away like he was fucking swatting a baseball bat, swinging a baseball bat, and Jey Uso was throwing fucking steel chairs at him. So Jey's throwing these chairs at Reed. Reed ran him over with a cross-body block. The heels worked over Jey, and crowd is getting restless. They want Sami. They want Punk. They want the OTC. Jimmy enters next. We're even for now. And he wiped out both heels on his own before helping Jey up to his feet. The Usos start working together like they always did as the Usos. One of the most decorated tag teams in WWE history, and they slightly took over the match. Tanga Loa was about to enter next. Solo says no. He sends Jacob Fatu out there. So Solo had a game plan coming into this. So imagine you got Tama Tonga out there who's a fucking savage. You got Bronson Reed already out there. And now you got Jacob Fatu in a 3-on-2 situation. Solo knew what he was doing. So that was a smart move. He sent his biggest men out there to go get the job done early and take them out early. So Jey gave him a Samoan drop, but Fatu popped right back up and knocked him down, and Bloodline took over. Punk was about to come out next, but Reigns blocked the door. Reigns looked over at Zayn, nodded at Zayn, and Zayn enters instead of Punk. So Punk and Roman are in the cage all by themselves. And we got my guy in the chat. We got my guy in the chat, Inverted. Oh my goodness, $100 in super chat. He says, love you, brother. Hope you had a good holiday. Inverted, thank you so much, brother. Always good to see you, man. Thank you very much, brother. Inverted's been with me for quite a while. Was an OG on all of the Call of Duty streams. Appreciate you being here, brother. Thank you so very much, and I hope you had a very happy and relaxing Thanksgiving, as the same goes to all of you guys joining me tonight. 3,700 deep tonight for the Survivor Series, as we're talking about the main event here. Bloodline OG versus Bloodline. Main event for War Games. Crowd started singing "Ole, Ole, Ole, Ole" with Sami Zayn, who ran wild on all the heels. Fatu caught him out of the air, but Jimmy super kicked Fatu. Zayn and Jimmy did their special handshake before putting the boots to Fatu. Heels took over again, and Tanga Loa came out next. It's like they knew exactly what they were doing here, man. Sent out their muscle early to get the job done, and then send out the lowly Tanga Loa, who nobody gives a fuck about, out there to basically pick apart the bones, right? So he's in there now. He didn't get really much of a reaction. So heels took over and nothing really happened here. I mean, when he got in there, nothing really substantial happened. You knew things were going to pick up when Punk got in there and when Roman got in there. And that's where things just emotionally get taken to the next level. All this is just an appetizer for the main course, which was the next two to enter the match. So Punk finally gets in there. And there was a situation when Punk and Roman were in the cage and the buzzer went off. Roman was going to walk out because he wanted to be in there with his family. He wanted to be in there with his bloodline. And CM Punk blows past Roman Reigns and nudges him on the way out of the cage. The referees locked Roman back in the cage, and Roman is pissed that CM Punk basically bum rushed him to get into the match and walked right past him, basically treating him as nothing. So CM Punk gets into the War Games match, and he doesn't get into the War Games match. This was one of my favorite parts of the entire show. This visual. CM Punk walks down the aisle. He gets into the War Games cage. He stands at the stairs. He's basically in the cage, but not in the cage. And he's got Jacob Fatu, Bronson Reed, Tanga Loa, and Tama Tonga all looking at him. And they're all just like fucking foaming at the mouth. It's like a pack of hyenas ready to pounce on their prey, right? So CM Punk, he's looking at these guys and he's second-guessing himself. He's like, what the fuck did I get myself into? He walks back down the steel steps. Crowd starts booing because they think he's going to turn on Roman. He goes underneath the ring. He pulls out a red toolbox. Michael Cole and Corey Graves call back to the toolbox, busting Drew McIntyre up in Hell in a Cell at Bad Blood. And CM Punk gets into the War Games with a weapon, which is a toolbox. And he starts swinging the toolbox at everybody. And swinging this toolbox actually gave him control over the match for a little bit. So that's exactly what he does. So Solo entered next with the new bloodline in control. And Fatu eventually took out CM Punk with a pop-up Samoan drop, which looked brutal. Solo enters. Fatu gave the Usos, who were stacked up, a moonsault, and Bronson Reed gave Sami Zayn a tsunami. Punk tried to fight back, but they all swarmed him 5-on-1. Solo brought his own chain and lock into the War Games and locked the cage to the ring. So Roman could not get into the ring via the door. It was padlocked, and they did not have a key. Bullshit. And they did not have a pair of pliers to pry open the lock. So Reigns, he walks down the aisle. He sees that he can't get in. So he voluntarily climbs the cage and enters over the top. So Reigns wiped out all the heels with a big crossbody off the ropes. And the match officially begins 30 minutes into the War Games. So he's in the ring. He's helping out his friends. He's helping everybody up to their feet. He helped Sami up to his feet. He helped Jey up to his feet. He helped Jimmy up to his feet. Roman looks at Punk, who's on the ground. He did not help him up. So you know how both teams do a standoff. One team is in one ring. The other team is in the second ring. He did not lift up CM Punk. CM Punk had to get up on his own. So tension is already brewing between Reigns and CM Punk. So the two teams stand tall. They faced off. There was a spot where they just go at it, and all 10 guys are brawling. Fast forward a little bit. There was a spot where Reigns went for a spear on Solo, but he moved, and Reigns speared Punk by accident. Punk was setting Fatu up for the GTS, and Reigns took out Punk accidentally. This did not look good. It looked a little clunky, but I get what they were going for. So Solo gave Reigns, off of this distraction, a Samoan spike. He goes for recovery, gets a near fall. Fatu went for the step-up moonsault, but he tripped and began holding his leg. And here I go again. Oh, no. Fatu's injured. He started holding his leg. Reigns speared Fatu moments later. He did get up and start limping around. I hope it's not too serious. Reed placed Reigns on a table. So Reigns just got spiked by Solo. They put him on a folding table. This fucking guy, Bronson Reed, climbs to the top of the War Games cage, and I'm like, oh my God. There's no possible way they have Bronson Reed jump off the top of the cage and land a tsunami on Roman Reigns through a fucking table. So Reigns is laid out on this table. Bronson Reed's up top. He jumps off for a tsunami on Roman Reigns through this table. CM Punk, in the absolute last millisecond, and I mean, Bronson Reed came dangerously close to getting this fucking move off on Roman Reigns. CM Punk was just a little bit too slow, man, in getting back up. Right in the bare fucking last second did he pull Roman Reigns off the table, and Bronson Reed, in a great spot, delivers a tsunami through an empty fucking table. He's out of the match after this completely. I mean, that's it for him. Great fucking spot. I'm surprised they actually had him do something like that. I didn't think they were going to do it, but kudos to him, man. That was one of the best looking spots of the entire show. Sami Zayn helped Jimmy, Jey, and Punk to their feet, while the Usos helped Reigns to his feet. So the new bloodline was down as Solo got to his feet. Everybody else is taken out, and Solo's all by himself. Solo was on his own 5-on-1. This was basically a crucifixion. That's all this was. Lamb to a slaughter. Solo ate super kicks by the Usos. One by Jimmy, one by Jey. Ate a haluva kick by Sami Zayn. CM Punk, at this point in the match, struggled to get Solo up on his shoulders, and he delivered a GTS. And then Reigns with the spear, and Reigns pinned Solo for the 1, 2, 3. And War Games was over. This was great. The story in this match led it to being the best men's War Games match that we've seen so far on the main roster. The only problem that I had with it is that WWE has these War Games matches and they feel very neutered. They feel very tame. They feel exactly the same that Vince did to Hell in a Cell. All those years ruining the match, ruining the concepts, overexposing the gimmick, and not really giving you a true environment of what War Games truly should be about. If there was one match in WWE all year that needed some sort of color, it was this one. And we got nothing. But the story in this match far superseded what we got in the opening match. And like I said in the beginning, this was a tale of two matches. One match had no story and fucking was terrible, and one of the worst War Games matches that you may ever see ever. And one was the best WWE War Games match that they've done since they brought the concept to the main roster. And I'd even go as far as to say it's probably the best War Games match that we've seen in NXT as well. So I enjoyed what they did here because of the level of storytelling that went into this and the level of storytelling that came out of it. Multiple different directions. Paul Heyman was out there during the match. He finally showed face. He got CM Punk and Roman Reigns back on the same page before both teams squared off and both teams got to their feet. He was out there. United front. We can't fail. We need to win. If we do fail, we're dead. So he's out there. He was the voice of reason. He got everybody back on the same page, and they ended up winning the match. This was great. After the match was over, Reigns, Zayn, Jey, Jimmy hugged as Punk looked on. Punk embraced Jimmy, Jey, and Sami Zayn individually. Reigns offered Punk a handshake. Punk obliged. Paul Heyman hugged CM Punk as he exited the cage and told him that he was owed his favor. And he said, when I'm coming for it, I'm going to let you know. And Paul Heyman says, don't worry, it's yours. Whatever that is. I don't know what it is. Everybody's speculating on what the favor is. What's the favor? Is it a match with Roman? Is it a main event WrestleMania match with Roman? Is it Paul Heyman leaving Roman for him? Does he get his wise man back? Does he force Paul Heyman to leave Roman Reigns after what the Bloodline have done to him over the last few years? Does he get a championship match against Roman when he wins the championship from Cody Rhodes or The Rock or whoever the champion is? I don't know. I have no idea. And I'm not even in the realm of guessing because we don't have any clues and we don't have any direction whatsoever on what the favor could actually be. And I love that. It's a big cliffhanger coming out of Friday Night SmackDown and a big cliffhanger again because they mentioned it in the closing segment of this match coming out of Survivor Series. So Roman Reigns exits the cage last. And there's this long, lingering kind of vibe and kind of feel where you just feel something's going to happen. Or something's about to happen. Someone's going to show up. Something. Paul Heyman is standing there. Roman Reigns exits the cage last. Puts his hand on Paul Heyman, rather, does Roman Reigns. He puts his hand on Paul Heyman's face in a very embraceful, very loving manner. And he, like an Italian mobster, you know? Thank you, wise man, you know? So he did not hug him. Kind of a very small embrace, and they all walk up the aisleway together. Paul Heyman was behind. Sami Zayn, Jimmy, and Jey were all together as Jimmy supposedly was hurt in the match. Punk was behind as well. Or he was actually ahead, and Punk actually exited first. And then all of them walking up the aisleway, they stop right at the curtain. And you figure something's going to happen even now. I'm not the only one that thought this. I thought someone was going to turn on Roman. I thought someone was going to blast Roman in the back. I thought Roman was going to be done dirty here. They were going to fucking take him out. Something was going to happen here. I thought maybe when they get to the curtain and they stop near the entrance of the ramp that you'd hear, "If you smell," and The Rock would come out. We didn't even get that. They just got to the curtain. They turned around for the camera. They put the ones in the air. Punk kind of did the comedy, let me him squeeze in between this, and he did his go to sleep. They all posed, and then the show went off the air. Now, I can't help but feel kind of let down. I can't help but feel disappointed. Like, I don't give a shit. I'm not going to lose sleep over it, but I felt it watching the show in that moment. I'm like, that's it? That's all they did? After all this hype, after all this money that people spent on this show, after this big, extravagant fucking story, War Games, Bloodline OG versus Solo and his bloodline, nothing? That's it? All we got to go off of is the cliffhanger of CM Punk. CM Punk and Paul Heyman, what is the favor? Heyman didn't come out with Punk. Heyman didn't come out with Roman. Roman did not hug Paul Heyman at the end of the match. Roman Reigns did not get his Ulafala. So we're not done here. We are not done by a long shot. Until Roman gets his Ulafala back, the next chapter cannot begin. I do think that they left you wanting more with this ending. And that's exactly what they went for. They teased it in a way that they made it blatantly obvious that something was going to happen, and then they just you know what? Let's go off the air, man. We'll wait. We'll wait a couple of weeks from now. Saturday night's main event's going to be a big, big, big deal. Netflix is going to be one of the biggest shows that WWE has produced in its lifetime. On one of those shows, Roman versus Solo is going to happen for the right of the Ulafala. At that point, I do think we see Rock return to television, whether that's Saturday night's main event or whether that's, I know he will be at the Monday Night Raw on Netflix. He will absolutely 100% be on that show. That show does not happen without Dwayne. So I don't know where this match with Solo and Roman's going to happen. We're getting it one more time. It's going to be for the Ulafala. Roman's going to get his Ulafala back. So there's multiple different things happening here. That Roman didn't hug Paul Heyman. Paul Heyman promised Punk his favor is guaranteed. Punk and Roman had tension. There's a lot of different things happening here. Survivor Series, I can't help but feel let down. I can't. The way the show started, going into the Nakamura LA Knight match with that brutal creative decision, only to pick up with the Intercontinental Triple Threat, and the momentum stayed for Gunther and Damian Priest, and then obviously the War Games match between Bloodline OG and Solo's Bloodline. I felt let down. For as big as this show was, it felt flat. I felt like WWE put so much eggs, so much of their effort into one match, and everything else felt kind of insignificant. That's the way that it comes off to me. WWE's got to do a better job of making the Bloodline story the most important thing on television, but you cannot just go into a pay-per-view building one match and then just filling in the gaps with random shit that happened on TV, expecting everybody to say, yeah, you know what, WWE's hot. They'll enjoy what we give them no matter what because they got that big match happening. And then the match happened, and nothing happened at the end, where we all look at Survivor Series as the starting point for WrestleMania. And after last year, we got Punk coming back. We figured we get Dwayne. We figured we get some return, something at the end, and nothing. I can't help but feel disappointed. Was it a thumbs-up show? Based off the Intercontinental title match, the World Heavyweight Championship, and the quality of the Men's War Games match, yes, it was a thumbs-up show. It was. But those first two matches, they were really, really, really cutting it close to this being a thumbs-down show. It was a thumbs-up show. If I was to rate it on a scale of 10, I'd probably give it a 5.5 out of 10. 6, maybe, out of 10. Some of you might think that's low, but I have standards. I have a need for quality. And the fact that WWE is so hot right now, their PLEs should be blow-away banger shows. And they're not. And the last few ones have not been it. They haven't. SummerSlam was It was all right. Crown Jewel was Bad Blood was a little disappointing out. If Punk and McIntyre didn't happen on Bad Blood, that show was a fucking thumbs down show. Plain and simple. Survivor Series, thumbs down. This is the last PLE for WWE all year. Saturday night's main event needs to be a fucking absolute banger. It does. Monday Night Raw on Netflix needs to be an absolute fucking banger. I just feel like WWE is in this holding pattern. They are absolutely in autopilot mode, and they are not doing much of anything until Monday night, January 6th. This is a thumbs-up show, but very barely. Thank you guys for all of your support, man. Appreciate you. We're going to get into your super chats in just a second. I want to thank you guys for joining me on this show, man. 3,800 people live tonight on YouTube. You guys have been awesome, man. Appreciate you guys very much. It's been a very, very, very emotionally charged mental health month, man. It's been a tough month. And without you guys kind of giving me a reason to just break out of the funks that I've been in, man. Shows really haven't been all that good. The WWE shows, that is, they've been boring. When they're boring, it's the worst thing ever, man. I can sit here and fucking rip apart a bad show when it's just egregiously bad. I love when it's exciting. Everybody loves excitement. But when it's boring and nobody cares, that's when it really kind of hits me, you know? But I thank you guys for showing up, man. You guys showed up big tonight. You guys continue to show up big throughout the rest of October and November. You guys are killing it. Thank you. Tonight we're sponsored by my great friends, man. We're back with Into the AM. You guys know Into the AM, man. Unbelievable that we're back with Into the AM tonight. Into the AM have two of the most anticipated shopping events of the year, Black Friday and Cyber Monday. And you guys can get up to 60% off from November 13th to December 8th. Make sure you guys go to intotheam.com/scripts. They got their biggest sale of the year. Enjoy up to 60% off starting November 13th up until December 8th. This will be the perfect time for you guys to purchase your favorite Into the AM products for yourself or for your loved ones as holiday gifts. Now, I just got myself a pair of joggers from Into the AM, man. Let me tell you something. These are the most comfortable pair of jogging pants I have ever owned. They are absolutely fucking fantastic. Fantastic. I may actually go and buy several pairs more, man, because that's how good they are. And I never am overly excited about anything, man. These jogging pants, they look good. They feel fucking great. Love it. Go get yourself, man, pair of joggers. They got great shorts. Great products, man. IntoTheAM.com/scripts. Once again, IntoTheAM.com/scripts. Biggest sale of the year, up to 60% off. And when you use my link, you can get an additional 10% off, man. That's an incredible deal. So make sure you guys go support them, man. And I want to thank them for once again sponsoring the podcast right here on Off the Scripts. Let's get into these super chats, man. Thank you for the 1,300 likes. You guys blew away the 1,000. Michael Krause with a $2 super chat. Good Saturday, JD and OTS family. Are you ready? He says at 4:30 p.m. This guy was in the fucking venue and the doors weren't even open yet. At 4:30. Thank you, Michael. King Mo Jackson with a $4.99. Nakamura looked badass in his entrance. The music is fire. Didn't expect the title change. They teased the cash in. They should have pulled the trigger on it. I agree. On the Tiffany Stratton cash in, I agree. JD, look at WrestleVote's tweet. Let's see. Gotta love my guys over at WrestleVotes. Let's see. What do they say? WrestleVotes. Let's see. Tonight marked the unofficial start of the most important and unpredictable stretch in WWE history. Over the next 140 days, the return of Saturday Night's Main Event, Raw's Netflix debut, a second Saturday Night Main Event on January 25th, a dome-sized Royal Rumble, the Chamber at the Sky Dome, both nights of WrestleMania 41. So if Survivor Series felt somewhat underwhelming to you, it was likely by design. Okay. I trust WrestleVotes. There's not many people in the community I trust. I trust WrestleVotes. I trust Joey Votes. They do great work over there. We will see. Like I said, to close this show, Saturday night's main event in 2 weeks needs to be an absolute fucking banger show. King Mo, thank you, brother. Michelle with a $10 super chat. Bloodline War Games was really fun and entertaining, but Roman Punk's tension are more seeds planted by Triple H. With that ending, I wonder what is next for them, and how could Cody tie into all this at WrestleMania? I don't know what Cody's going to be doing at WrestleMania because he's been teasing that the plans right now are going to take people for a wild ride. The one thing I will say is I know for a fact, because Triple H said it himself last year in that WrestleMania documentary, which was basically a glazing of Dwayne Johnson. Let's be real. Triple H said that before all the things that happened leading into Vince being removed and the allegations and the lawsuit, Lesnar had to be pulled off TV, Punk got hurt, Rock fucked up Royal Rumble. Triple H said that WrestleMania was 80% completed. His vision for WrestleMania was 80% just completed. and then things got fucked up. I know for a fact that Triple H, he's got a healthy roster. Everybody's back or about to come back. He's going to have a bigger and better roster this year than he did last year. You know for a fact that Triple H has WrestleMania already mentally done. You know. There's not a worry in my mind about what he's doing for WrestleMania. I know he's got everything planned. We just got to see it play out. Tonight, they say it was done by design because I certainly felt underwhelmed. I hope that's the case. Zach with a $4.99, enjoying a few Guinness, listening to OTS. Hope Iyo beats Liv for the title. Thanks for introducing me to Alter Bridge. Brother, keep speaking the truth. Appreciate you, man. Alter Bridge already have announced they will be going into the studio in 2025 for a recording of a new album. Mark Tremonti's got a new album coming out in January. He's got some bangers already on Spotify. And Miles just put out a album in October, which is a great album in itself. Tony Brown with 30 months. JD, I absolutely enjoyed this PLE. Awesome wrestling. But that booty meat buffet was the best. Always good seeing you, Tony. Nicholas with the new membership. Nicholas, what the fuck are you drinking, brother? King Mo with a $1.99. The IC title match was my favorite of the night. Likewise. Best in the world, Matt, with a $5 super chat. Punk versus Reigns is going to hit hard when it happens. Honestly, looking forward to Punk versus Reigns more than Punk versus Rollins at this point. Well, yeah, obviously. But you don't think Rollins is going to have a say in Punk teaming with Roman Reigns? You know he's going to be angry at that. That's the whole reason why Punk was included here. That's another part of the story that we have not even got into yet because Punk hasn't seen Rollins and Rollins wasn't on Raw last week. Tribal Chief with a $2 super chat. PLE was good, and thank you, JD. I really enjoy your show. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you for being here. The King Ellie Show with a $4.99. After tonight's show, definitely Cody vs. Rock, Roman vs. Jacob at WrestleMania. Cena wins the Rumble. I will give you guys a early WrestleMania prediction after we get through Saturday night's main event. Pumbata, the Bulgarian, with a $5 super chat. JD, I love you, but I saw your tweet about the Knight and Nakamura match. I respect your opinion, but I disagree. I hate to do so, but I do. It's all right, brother. It's all right, brother. If you respect me and my opinion, I will gladly respect you. When you come at me with hostility and you come at me with fucking personal jabs and attacks over a wrestling opinion, then that's when I get fucking a little agitated. It's all right, brother. Wrestling unites us all. I didn't like it. I didn't. It's all right. Nobody's going to lose sleep over what I have to say. Some might, but in the end, it's only pro wrestling. The Druzio with a $4.99. Is there any way we're on the road to a Roman, Cena, Punk, and Cody versus Rock, Solo, Fatu, and Tama Tonga match at WrestleMania? No. Absolutely not. Ali with a $5 super chat. Do you think The Rock shows up at Saturday night's main event? He's got to show up at one of them. Saturday night's main event, if not Monday, January 6th. For sure on Netflix. 100% he will be there. Cody with a $5 super chat. Roman has now accidentally speared Punk and Rock. Neither one is going to forget that. Just putting it out there. Sarit Mohanty with a 20-month membership. We may have Roman vs. Solo for the Ulafala on the Raw debut on Netflix, and then we will see Rock post-match when Roman wins. That's the perfect spot for Rock's return. Could be. Could be. Thank you, Sarit. Best in the world, Matt, with a $5 super chat. My guy, Inverted, wants some Pilot. Let's play some Pilot for my guy. Best in the world, Matt, with a $5 super chat. Don't get me wrong, I love War Games, but I think they need to go back to having traditional Survivor Series matches. If they're going to do War Games, then do War Games and make it feel like War Games. We don't need 2 War Games if it's going to come off like the women's match that we got tonight. It's all right if one of them gets turned into a traditional Survivor Series 5-on-5. It's fine. King Mo Jackson with a $1.99. Women's match was sloppy. U.S. title match was a miss. H-Town vibes with 40 months. The women should have had a traditional Survivor Series match. Absolutely. Absolutely. Sarit with another bomb here. Jerry, bro, I understand you got disappointed because you expect so much surprises, but we have Saturday night's main event and Netflix debut, so WWE didn't rush big angles today. Maybe pace will pick up next year on Raw Netflix. You are correct. You are correct. Giza with a $4.99. The Rock not making an appearance was a bit of a disappointment. Well, I mean, you know, all because he showed up at Bad Blood. A lot of people expected him to show up at Survivor Series. If he showed up at Bad Blood, why not Survivor Series? But listen, man, WrestleVotes, they are pretty spot on. If that's what they said and are reporting, then fine. Well, wait, we got 2 weeks. We'll be right back here talking about Saturday night's main event, and we'll go over it all. As you guys know, we will. Giza, thank you, brother. Little Willie with a $20 super chat. Thank you, Little Willie. Show was definitely better in the second half, but my questions are, where is The Rock? We had him at the end of Bad Blood, but not Survivor Series. The camera lingered a lot, and they usually never do that for the end of a War Games match. That's why I was very confused. I thought we were going to get something. I mean, if you just wanted to go off the show, then go off the show, but they want to tease you. You know, they worked us. What are you going to do? I can't help but be disappointed. I'm a human being. Omega Kong with a 34 months. 2 months till I get the badge. Been annoyed. Most bartenders don't know how to make a proper old-fashioned. I may as well make them myself. Bro, you know what? The old-fashioned is a simple beverage, and it is amazing how many people can't make a simple old-fashioned. Unbelievable. Sarit Mohanty with a $4.49. Seems WWE put the U.S. title on Nakamura to let him walk into January 1's Noah pay-per-view as champion. Demon Balor versus Priest at Saturday night's main event. Balor back as a singles star. So we took the belt off LA Knight to put it on Nakamura so we could wrestle on a show nobody gives a fuck about. Sounds like a dog shit creative move. Tone C with a 21 months. I let in a kitten from the backyard 2 weeks ago. She's been good for the most part. I'm guessing she's about 3 months old. Any advice? OTS for life. Lots of toys, brother. Lots of toys. Cat tree or a scratch post. And buy a cat clipper to clip its nails, because that shit gets fucking dangerously sharp, man. My arms are all cut up from the foster babies that I have upstairs, so keep it occupied, man. They got a lot of energy and need a lot of playtime. At least an hour of playtime per day. Joey Taylor with a $2 super chat. Survivor Series, 6 out of 10. Hidden Network. Triple Threat and main event were bangers. The rest was dull, but a good show. OTS for life. Thank you, brother. As always. Lauren with a $2 super chat. Still no word on who attacked Jade Cargill. I'm going with either Naomi or Bayley. Han with a $5 super chat. JD's takes are fair, and I enjoy them. I, for one, enjoyed Survivor Series. Not great, not bad, but good. 8 out of 10. OTS is number 1. What was your rating, JD? 5.5, 6 at best out of 10. And I appreciate that, Han. Thank you very much, man. I think 8 out of 10 is way too high. Apex with a $1.99. Bliss could return and take the title off Liv at the Royal Rumble. No, thank you, brother. I think Alexa will be in the Royal Rumble. Cornell Bryant with a $1.99 because she couldn't fit inside the holding cell. You said it, I didn't, brother. I say something like that just off the cuff. I may not be here tomorrow. Lauren with a $2 super chat. Returns are definitely coming at Saturday night's main event. I hope so. John Clockwork, what's up, brother? I give the women more leeway than most, but still the women's War Games match was not it. A botch fest start to finish with a couple of high points. Why not a 5-on-5? Your guess is as good as mine, John. I have no idea. They don't want to cause a political rift or a political outrage. That's why. Meanwhile, it would have made the most creative sense. And I don't think anybody would have cared because I think more story would have come out of a traditional Survivor Series match 5-on-5 than a War Games match between all 10. Apex with a $1.99. Jimmy Uso broke his toe. Said it in a press conference. All right, he'll be out for a month. That's good for him. Nothing too serious. His dive off the top rope, though, or dive off the top of the cage, was fucking great. Big splash off the top of the cage through Jacob Fatu and the table. Rome Collector 84 with a $4.99. Nia learned from the best. She was doing the Hogan chair shots. Man, those were worse than Hulk Hogan's. Lauren with a $2 super chat. Will Punk turn heel? I enjoy a heel Punk over a babyface Punk. Lauren with a 2. Thank you, Lauren. Snowman Khan with a $2.79. Rhea probably got her mask from the Beast Mortos. I think her mask looked better than the Beast Mortos. By the way, did anybody watch Lucha Libre Rampage tonight? Oh my God, Reba! Did anybody watch Lucha Libre Rampage tonight? Does anybody have a report? Jesse, I'm going to need a Collision Corner on Rampage as well, bro. Advocate with a 6 months. Jacob Fatu is the ridiculous one. Bronson Reed and Fatu as a tag team would be insane. This pay-per-view was above average. Not great, not terrible. Apex. $1.99. Judgment Day beat up Priest backstage. No Dom, though. Cool. John Clockwork with a $1.99. Nakamura had to train with Emperor Palpatine to win. Not a fan. Phil, what's up, brother? 36 months. I know the crowd didn't translate well on TV, but in the arena, it was loud. Shinsuke winning was shocking, but I loved it. Can't wait to get home. OTS for life. Phil, I had no idea you were at the fucking show, bro. You traveled all the way to Vancouver? How long is that flight, man? Probably a flight I do not want to make. Though Vancouver looks like a beautiful city. Apex with a $1.99. JD, maybe we were too harsh on Logan Paul. I think Logan Paul's great. Do I want to see him on TV every week? No, but what he does in the ring, he brings it. Major with a $1.99. Wrestling Nia is like wrestling a parade in the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. No comment. Gerald Davis with a $5 super chat. Hello from Hawaii, JD. Nakamura's gimmick reminds me of a Hangover attempted version of Hasuki. Haksuki. Hakusui. I don't... Hakushi? Hakushi? You guys remember Hakushi? Hakushi was great. Basically, with a $4.99, nothing, not for nothing, but Nakamura did the job for both Rollins and Cody. They will have Knight chase him and give him something to do in this feud. Boring. It's boring. I'm sorry. It's boring. Could not give a single shit. Michael Krause with the $2 super chat. No more women's War Games matches. Yeah. That one guy with a $9.99. Swear to God, bad booking is going to be the death of JD, but shit, it feels like if JD isn't blowing a gasket and telling it how it is, no one will. Of course not. Kenji Sundquist with a $1.99. JD, do you still collect Pokemon cards? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Cody Snyder with a $5 super chat. Braun spearing Kaiser was moment of the night until Punk pulled Roman off that table. What a spear. Punk Roman, man. Heyman loved that. Han with a 5. I don't always agree with JD, but I respect him because he speaks from the heart. It hurts sometimes to hear the truth. Always does. JD for life. OTS #1. Thank you, brother. Colin Kunkel with a 10. As far as the favor, I don't think we're going to hear about it for a while. Like close to WrestleMania. We're going to forget about it until they drop it on us, and it will be like, oh, shit. Yeah. Tony McCann says, do you think Cody was missed? Probably, you know what, brother? I don't really think so. I don't think so. WWE's got so much talent that it really didn't matter at the end. Probably told him to stay home. Spend time with your wife and your kid. Happy Thanksgiving. Best in the world, Matt, with a $2 super chat. Just the chill guy meme was a star tonight at Survivor Series. I saw that sign. What is the deal with this meme? Where is it from and why is it so popular? Gerald Davis with a $10 super chat. JD, I think the clue came when they were doing the football reference when Roman says he represents the island of relevancy, meaning a man with nothing, like Cody told him, would occur. Well, they all told him he's a chief without a tribe. Everyone's going to leave him. Going to be standing on the island all by himself. Roman is not a changed man. Jason J. Bird Sports Cards with a $2 super chat. Thank you, brother. Clone Force with a 7 months. Punk getting main event match with Roman at WrestleMania, but Rollins stops that from happening since he definitely is not allowing Punk to get a main event match. That could be it. That could be it. Then that's how we get Punk and Rollins at WrestleMania, and then Roman can go on and do something else, and then we come back to Roman and Punk. Deadbeat with a $10 super chat. Aside from the women's match, the show was good. Great IC title match, and the spot with Punk and Jacob with the toolbox was amazing. Love you, man. Have a great night. Thank you, Deadbeat. I'm Danger Wrestling For the $5 Super Chat. Full Gear or Survivor Series? Which was better? Love you, JD. Survivor Series. Absolutely. Inverted $2 Super Chat. Hopefully you heard Pilot play, brother. Played it for you. Joey Taylor with a $12 Super Chat. JD, two things. Survivor Series, 6 out of 10. And my birthday is next Tuesday, 29 years young. Can I get a shout out? We'll shout you out on your birthday, brother, but happy early birthday, 29 years old. I don't know if you drink the adult beverage. Make sure it's ice cold, brother. Bronx Made with a $1.99. He says, Beast Mortos for AEW champion. No. No, I don't even want to see Beast Mortos on my TV, man. Don Parker with a $10 Super Chat. Excellent review show, JD. We'll watch the PLE tomorrow, but big day in college football. I can imagine the ladies' War Games match being substandard in ring work, but exceptional in cake. OTS for life. Well, I mean, when you got Bayley and Bianca and Liv Morgan and Rhea Ripley in the same match, and Iyo and Tiffany, there's a lot to look at there, bro. That's why I'm surprised it sucks so badly. Furious Nation with a $4.99. Happy December 1st, JD. I thought Survivor Series was the thumbs in the middle show. Liv and Nia can't lose those titles fast enough. Absolutely. Bronx Made with a $1.99. In all seriousness, enjoy the show. Good night. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed the show, bro. Zeno Zero with a $5 Super Chat. JD, what is the name of this current song? Gimme That. I don't remember what I played. I played some Andy James. I played some Pilot. What did I play? It was probably Pilot. The Return by Pilot. P-Y-L-O-T. Xavier Lopez with a $5 Super Chat. JD, I respect on what you said about this show. OTS for life. Thank you, Xavier. Appreciate you, brother. Harold Russell with 18 months. Yo, JD, what's up? Me, I give that PLE a 7 out of 10, and the women's cage match really killed it for me. I still think 7 out of 10 is too high. I still think 7 out of 10 is still way too high. Major with a $1.99. JD, please do the Nia chair shots again. As I throw my wicked cushions for my headset. I haven't even opened them yet. Furious Nation with a $4.99. Some WrestleMania 41 predictions. Seth versus Punk, Roman versus Rock, Cody versus Orton, Gunther versus Cena, KO versus Sami, Ciampa versus Gargano, Iyo versus Rhea, Tiffany versus Charlotte. A decent prediction. Decent prediction, brother. Edward with a $4.99. Always good to see Edward. Title belt VIP here on the channel. Was I the only one wishing for Rollins to ambush Punk after Punk disappeared behind the Tron while the OG Bloodline slowly walked back? I would have loved something to happen, man. I would have loved for something to happen. Justin Toner with a $10 Super Chat. I always respect your opinion and honesty, JD. I thought the show was good, not great. Triple H said Reed got hurt too and is questionable for a few weeks. That sucks. Hope he heals fast. Keep up the good work. Well, he jumped off the top of the cage with a tsunami through a table. So I'm assuming he got banged up. I'll tell you what, though. Triple H already has Saturday night's main event already booked, so I'm sure we'll be fine. Apex with a $1.99. Tony ditched Punk for the Bucks and Jack Perry. Stupid, stupid, stupid. And Don Parker with a $5 Super Chat. Cheeseburger and Jake Cartwheel. The new Norman Smiley and Brooklyn Brawler. I don't know about Cheeseburger, but Jack Cartwheel, not Jake Cartwheel, Jack Cartwheel is now ID'd by WWE, so we may be seeing him sooner rather than later. Anyway, guys, I'm getting out of here. I got a big day tomorrow. Busy day tomorrow. Thank you guys very much. Appreciate all of your support. You killed it with the Super Chat tonight. We're nearing 1,400 likes. Thank you guys very much. And I'm going to play some Iron Banner. I got some weapons to chase on Destiny before I get to bed, man. But thank you guys very much for all your support. Guys killed it tonight. We had upwards towards 3,900 people inside the OTS venue, man, for this Survivor Series post-show 2024 version. Appreciate you guys always. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you guys thought of Survivor Series. Continue to hit that thumbs up. Go check out all the content on the channel. There's plenty of it. And please make sure you guys check out my sponsor for tonight's show, man. Into the AM, up to 70% off. 60 because of Black Friday, and an extra 10 when you use my link, intotheam.com/script. Next time you guys see me, we'll be live right here on Monday night from Monday Night Raw, right here on Off the Script. Thank you guys for a great stream. #1 as always. And we'll see you back next week with some more content for a brand new week, December, right here on OTS. I'll see you guys later.